We're live. Folks, good evening and welcome back to another edition of Hockey Night in Scottsdale, brought to you by Bob Gucci and Jay Swish. We are live from North Scottsdale, Arizona tonight, as always from the couch, bringing you the people, the best coverage you can't get anywhere else. And tonight, the matchup we have, Bobby, is we have the Dallas Stars at home with the visiting Minnesota Wild, a Central Division matchup featuring two teams scratching and clawing for their playoff berth.
Yeah, welcome in, everybody. It's Hockey Night in Scottsdale Live. We're watching Minnesota and Dallas. You know, two teams switch that I really do not give a fuck about. So yeah. I'm gonna daydream a little bit during the stream. I might go off on a tangent about the Greek bowl I ate today.
Ooh.
It feels like I'm pregnant, and that's no disrespect to the non-binary community, but I feel like I have a child in my stomach. So anyway, this game, I could not care less, but we're gonna do it anyway.
You feel like you might be giving birth to a fuck trophy, and there are guys that can have a kid these days. But anyways, Bob, we have a Central Division game that features, well, the Minnesota Wild and the Dallas Stars. Now, the history between these teams is kind of funny because Minnesota ultimately left. No, they left they left Minnesota. They came over to Dallas, and then Minnesota gets their franchise back. So it's funny how that works out. As the Wild, they're a team typically, Rob, that is kind of somewhat boring to watch, and especially with Kaprizov out. I don't know, but we're going to give it our best go. We have Matt Duchene, obviously, with his guitar in the game tonight, playing for the Dallas Stars. So let's see. Hopefully we can hit maybe the over and pray for some goals here, baby.
Yeah, which that's a good point you made. I forgot that Dallas actually was in Minnesota. They left for Dallas, just like you. I don't mean to repeat, but just for everyone that's filtering in right now. And then Minnesota got a team. It's kind of like when your chick leaves you and she goes and bangs another guy in Cabo, and he has a small wrench. Not that I have a big wrench, but he has a very, very small wrench, and then she wants you back. It's kind of like it's an awkward situation switch.
JG Wrenchworth, call 877.com. Yeah, I agree, Robbie. It's kind of a different, mix because Minnesota being the state of hockey that is self-proclaimed, obviously, there is good roots there with hockey in Minnesota high school hockey, obviously the Minnesota Gophers. But, yeah, it's weird where they left the state of hockey. They go down to Dallas, the Lone Star State, and then ultimately get a team back here. So look for a great game here as we have, a little history in this game too. Ryan Suter, not the most well-liked Wild player in terms of the fans, and I think in the locker room a little bit as well. So we have a little history there, maybe some bad blood. I don't know, but a guy like Joe Pavelski, I look at, Rob, a guy that uses a white stick. He's 38 years old, maybe 39 now, still getting it done. One of the best American players really of all time. I love watching Joe Pavelski, and a guy that's from Plover, Wisconsin. It really hits home from a kid from the Dairy State myself.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a guy. I think the term living the dream gets thrown around really loosely. That's a guy who really is living the dream. Just a Wisconsin guy, United States born hockey player. Back when hockey, listen, Canada dominated hockey. Now I think the Americans are getting a little bit better, but he's one of those old school guys that was an American player to watch for a long time. And speaking of Suter, yeah, I didn't know that he was a potential problem in the locker room. That's kind of cool to hear because, well, who doesn't like a little bit of drama? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if he was necessarily a bad guy, but I don't know if he was necessarily the nicest, to the younger players.
Might have been a little bit of a cunt.
Right. I don't know if it was – maybe he wasn't as well received. Obviously a great player, a guy from Madison, Wisconsin, my neck of the woods. So I'm not going to rag on him too much, but I think that, maybe the younger players, there was a little beef there. Maybe it wasn't grass-fed. Maybe it wasn't as organic, but – anyways, as you mentioned, Joe Pavelski, though, like a guy that can't really skate that well, but unbelievable hand-eye coordination, knows where the play is almost like before it even happens. He's just such a smart, heady player, and a guy that obviously, there's no reason, or there's a reason why he's had 1,000 points in his career, and he keeps playing at this age. So we got a great game tonight, Bob. I actually kind of like this matchup. I want to see the Wild. I haven't really watched them. A friend of the show, Patty Maroon, on the Wild now. This Brock Faber, Rob, he's been playing like 30-odd minutes a night. He's a young defenseman that last year was at the University of Minnesota, but he's a guy that's like sneaky in a Calder race now, especially with Bedard being out. Like playing 30 minutes a night as a rookie, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, people keep asking me to tweet about Faber, and I just have to be honest. I don't watch the Wild that much, but when it comes to the Calder, a lot of the times you forget about guys like Faber. You forget about the nitty-gritty guys that are just logging ice time. They're in the corners. They're mucking. They're fucking. It kind of reminds me of how Michelli got a snub for the Calder when he's one of the best players in the league right now. But yeah, he'll be one to watch. Wow, what a fucking play. I don't know
Jacob
what
Chris
happened.
Middleton with a couple of two-pump chump there. He got a couple looks at that. Dakota Mervis in the lineup tonight, a guy I played within Green Bay for the Gamblers, was on our Calder Cup team. Sorry, our Clark Cup team. Talk much switch. But yeah, anyways, right now, folks, we are at the 12:37 marker. If you're following along, again, we always take at the first commercial break, we take our first question. So
shout out to the chat.
Keep getting at us in the chat here, folks, as Joe Pavelski gets a nice little look in early on the goalie. But yeah, again, a delayed penalty right now. But again, in the chat, get at us in the chat. Let us know where you're tapping in from. Get at us with questions, whatever you have right now. Again, right about the 12-15 minute marker, there's a delayed call on the ice. Dallas is going to go to the power play, and they're massaging it right now in a 6-on-5, trying to get their first look of the game.
Yeah, what up to everybody in the chat? You know the drill. If you're new here, tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're watching from. Are you watching the game with us? I see a lot of YouTube in here. I see Twitch. I see no Twitter right now. But, yeah, tell us where you're from. Tell us your questions. You got a rant. Are you upset about something? Is your bird being a bitch? Is your commercial break? We're going to go right to the chat and answer everything you got for us.
Absolutely. Let us know where you're watching from. Where are we watching this TNT?
Oh!
It's the first of the doubleheader tonight on Wednesday. It is ladies' night. Now, Wednesdays and Thursdays for me are always ladies' night. So where are you tapping in from? This is a TNT special, but brought to you by the boys on the couch here at Hockey Night in Scottsdale, live from North Scottsdale. So, folks, again, this delayed penalties feel like it's been like 5 minutes here, Rob. Minnesota can't get a touch on it. Dallas kind of just working it around the box, if you will, and not really getting a whole lot of traffic to the net, but they're doing a good job, I guess, of keeping it away from the Minnesota defenders before they ultimately go to the power play here.
Yeah, I mean, this ref, his arm has been up for 2 minutes. He's got to be losing circulation, sort of like my wrench after a night of drinking Woodford on the rocks. There's no circulation there. Finally, we get a whistle.
Yeah, whiskey wrench. The brown will always put you down, Rob. Yep. You know that. It's a tale as old as time. Folks, again, we're going to our first commercial break live from Dallas, the American Airlines Center, but most importantly, live from the couch here in North Scottsdale. Hockey Night in Scottsdale brought to you by Bobby Gucci and Jay Swift. So, folks, what do we got in the chat right now? Where are you tapping in from? And what the hell is going on a Wednesday night, midweek hump day, baby?
And I just want to point out the brown will put you down is a reference to whiskey. We are not talking about getting jumped by black people. We have a commercial break. Let's go to the chat.
That is the whiskey, baby.
All right. The Stars are my team. We get a hockey night. Holy jumping. Hell yeah. What up, Blues Buzz? Friend of the show. Absolutely fucking rights. Nice shirt, Rob. Thank you very much. Wins Binner coming on. I think we're going to have him on in about 20 minutes or less here.
Just talking to JB right now. He is, I think, eating right now a little dinner, a little meat and cheese charcuterie board that he's coming on and joining the boys over here at Hockey Night in Scottsdale.
Watching on Twitter, I'm pissed I can't watch this game because why not? Hey, Swish, even though he is out, what are your thoughts on Miro?
Miro Heiskanen, a guy that played for IFK Helsinki junior program, I believe 2 years, the same Liga team in Finland I did. Great player, skates like the wind, one of my favorite defensemen in the league. I honestly think at full health, he's a top 3 to 5 defenseman in the whole league. He's unbelievable. The way he can high step and gallop through the neutral zone is something really special, Rob. He honestly is like a goddamn gazelle out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Also, there's a lot of people, in other words, talking about the chick from Dallas with that gigantic rack on her. Was Bennington a backup guest for the Dallas Bird with an absolute balcony? We don't know. If she's listening, you never know. Hockey Night in Scottsdale is insane. Frank Sarah Spaghetti comes on, Darren McCartney. We have Jordan Binnington, Nick Schmaltz. You never know who's going to pop in.
You never know who's going to tap in. Paul Bissonnette, I mean, lifted on the couch, hockey's finest, right? So
if anyone knows with the chick with the huge front porch, let her know.
Right. Yeah, get her the link to this because we need that chick with the absolute Brad Bombardiers. That's a big set of fun bags. We're talking big old movies. As Matt's Zuccarello is taking his first look here in the penalty box. That is 2 minutes, folks. You go in the box and feel shame right now. The Wild on the penalty kill. Freddie Gaudreau in the dot. We have Marcus Foligno, Jacob, Chris Middleton, and Brock Faber. Who else? The 4 killers here for the Minnesota Wild. Let's get it going and see what this power play can do. Honestly, Rob, I haven't watched a whole lot of Dallas Stars hockey. We watched that one game earlier in the year when they played Florida. It was actually a pretty good game. Yeah. It was the battle of the Lone Star State and the Sunshine State. And it was a fuck fest. So that was actually the game that hit an over. So a game I like to look at right now, Mason Marchment is a guy I played with in the Marlies. He's a big body. He's a guy that plays the net front on this first power play. So look for him to maybe get in front of the blue paint, take that goalie's eyes away, and maybe bang home a rebound, baby.
We're gonna get back to the chat at our next break, but I just want to mention someone's tapped in from Finland. We love that Hockey Night Scottsdale is motherfucking international. We're loving that shit.
Yeah, we love that. And this Nicky Lindquist guy is an interesting player here, Rob. He can't really play a lick of defense. He came over from the New York Rangers, and now he finds himself on the first power play with the Dallas Stars. And I'd be curious to see how his game has progressed through the year. I don't know if there's any Dallas Stars fans watching who would give us a little bit more insight because, again, I think I've watched maybe one or two of their games all year. But a guy I'm going to look at tonight is a young defenseman, young right shot, Swedish kid, a little bit on the softer side, but obviously has a really good skill set as we get our first look here at Rope Hintz. Another Finnish fella, Rob, played at IFK as well. Shout out to Helsinki. Shout out to all the good trim there. How about you like a guy like Joe Pavelski's white stick, Rob? I love a guy I respect a guy that can use a white stick. Like, you got to be pretty nasty to use an all-white lifesaver.
Yeah, look, I mean, if you're using a white stick and you're out there skating around like a goddamn douchebag and you're just not good, for example, I would never have the balls to paint my stick white. Also, look at that play right there. But yeah, if you're dirty and you're Joe Pavelski, I mean, shit, you can skate around with whatever the hell you want. I mean, you could put a swap. I'm not going to say that, but you can do whatever you want out there and it looks good. So yeah, I think that's pretty nails with him.
Yeah,
white stick.
And the first guy I go back that really used a white stick in modern NHL was James Wisniewski, a guy that could just tickle the ceiling at the top of the key of the power play. Big body, could throw him both ways. Actually played with him in the American Hockey League one year. It was pretty funny. He had made about $45 million and came down. But Joe Pavelski kind of gets slew-footed there in front of the net, and you're not a whole lot going on this first power play. That's usually kind of how it goes, especially early on in the game. Not many chances. The Wild with a good kill. And again, we'll see what we can do. Zach Bogosian, another guy I look at, came over from Tampa, won a couple mugs there. I love guys that wear no visors. We have two of those tonight and featured in Jamie Benn and Zach Bogosian. You got to be pretty goddamn nails to go no visor with all the science out there today. And ultimately, hockey's a pretty dangerous game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not for the faint of heart. I was lucky enough to not be good enough to play in a league where you can use a visor besides the summer. So, yeah, I mean, it's good to see. Jamie Benn's tape job is also fucking hilarious.
Jamie Furley, two strands right in the middle. It's honestly like the half Heatley. It's pretty sick. I mean, a guy that just has the C on his jersey, left side heavy in terms of the C on his left side of his jersey, no tape essentially on the blade, throws them both ways, good beard, good chin, probably fucks really hard. I'm not looking to go that way, but I'm sure his wife or whatever, he's just a nail gun. So we get our first look here at Joel Eriksson, another good player for the Minnesota Wild. Not a guy that plays with a ton of pace, but a pretty good, solid two-way forward. And then Swedish line here with Marcus Johansson, and as well as I don't know who's playing on the left side tonight, but I think that might be Zuccarello. Anyways, folks, back to the game here. We have 7:55 and counting to play right now in the first period as Ryan Suter takes the screws to Matt Boldy, a young good player from Boston College on the Minnesota Wild, I believe in his third season with the team, making about 7 bananas a year. How the hell are you? So nice little tilt tonight. I don't know a whole lot, again, about both these teams, Rob, because we don't get to see them a ton. But, again, Central Division, heavy hockey, West, big boy hockey in the West, and we're getting a pretty good look at, maybe a potential playoff matchup here.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Dallas, but let me tell you, I do have a story from when I was in Dallas. I almost entered a relationship with a transsexual person. What happened was, long story short, I got a DoorDash switch, and I went down, and I'm crippled. No disrespect to the disabled community. I got my DoorDash. I ordered about 10 junior bacon cheeseburgers for the boys. True story. And I looked in the window, and this chick is pretty good looking. And she asked for my number. She sounded like a chick. She walked like a chick. She looked like she had a set on her.
Right.
So I go, yeah, whatever. Here's my number. I didn't want anything to do with the number, but I just wanted to be polite. So then I get up to my room. I give the boys all the junior bacon cheeseburgers. I ended up passing out on the floor with one on my chest later that night.
Yep.
Anyway, she texted me right away and said, I have something to tell you. Could you tell I'm a trans? And I said, no, I could not tell you that, but I couldn't tell, but thank you for letting me know because we almost started dating based off that transaction.
Right.
She was my DoorDash driver. So
pretty crazy. I mean,
that was my crazy Dallas.
Looks like a chicken, walks like a chicken, did not taste like a chicken. So it could have been a duck, and that's crazy to think that you were almost fooled by maybe going Apo Taco, as I like to say, throwing from the other side of the plate. And there's nothing
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong for trading in your wrench for something else in a different part, right? People go to AutoZone all the time to get different parts for their cars. But I'm just saying, for your sake, that's not what you were looking for.
Yeah, I'm not a switch hitter. I almost did become one that night by accident, but I do respect her or him for letting me know. And it turned out she was a pretty good driver. I ordered 10 sandwiches. They got to us pretty quick. So
like all in all, though, like sneaky hot for what she had working. Could you tell? I mean, I guess right.
It sounded like a chick. It looked like a chick. I couldn't tell at all. So hats off to the surgeon, friend of the show. If you're in here watching, shout out to the plastic surgeon in the Dallas area.
There
in the DPX.
goes my hero.
We had a question in from
Watch him as he burns.
Oh, fuck.
Let's take one question here. Sorry, folks. We got on a
Where's Perry going?
I've not heard a ton about the Corey Perry situation. I would think around the trade deadline, if teams are willing to pick him up, is kind of when he would go. So look for the next 6 weeks, I would say, sometime after the All-Star break, sometime into March, maybe late February, mid-February is where I see kind of movement on the Corey Perry front. They got to let it die down still a little bit, right? It's still kind of hot and horny. Let it die down. And then when teams really need to win and nobody gives a fuck, I think that's when he gets added.
Yeah, I mean, I think teams are going to wait. Like probably someone like the Boston Bruins, they love signing people with controversy. They signed Victor Bout. They signed Casey Anthony. They had Rittenhouse there for a while.
Did they have Rittenhouse on a two-way?
Yeah, Rittenhouse on a two-way. He's right down. He's down in Providence right now, shooting people outside of
Providence, Milwaukee. I think the deal was.
Yeah, so I can see them bringing in Perry just to up their grit on that team, which they already have.
Yeah. Team built like a coyote. Well, we saw them last night, speaking of the Coyotes, but the Boston Bruins, those fans, Rob, are crazy.
Oh, my God.
That team is built like a coyote, like I said, all cock and ribs. But those fans last night at the Muller Arena, I mean, there was 70% of everyone in the stands had a Boston Bruins jersey on, and they're like banging on the glass. I was like, wow, this just kind of reminds me of how nails the East Coast is.
Yeah, I mean, with all due respect, some of the dumbest people I've ever met, Swish, but they are passionate.
Yeah.
I was actually lucky enough to sit in a press box last night to my right. The whole press box was filled with Boston fans.
Yep.
And they would be on the power play, and there would be a guy right in front of McAvoy, and they just go, shoot it! It doesn't matter where on the ice. Even 3-on-3, there's yelling to shoot it. Yes, potentially dumb and a little bit short-circuited, but very passionate.
You got to respect it. They do hammer drinks. They do love wearing their team's jerseys. And yes, they might even dye their hair for a regular season game. I saw that. At least 2 fans. These guys were wearing like a quilt too. I mean, they were just crazy. They were all gooped up on Mountain Dew and ready to throw both ways. So I thought we were going to get another fan fight at Mullet Arena last night, because if you remember, last time the Bruins were in town a year ago, some chick's finger got bit off, some chick got suckered, someone I think got banged in the ass. I mean, it was crazy what happened. There was a whole section of 108 was thrown both ways. So that was nuts. But anyways, folks, keep getting us in the chat here. Ask us anything you have. Keep firing at the questions. We have 6:22 in the first frame right now. I think there'll be one more commercial break in terms of, to go here in the first period, and then it'll get to intermission. But keep getting at us in the chat. Right now, shots are 6-9, no pun intended, as we get a look at John Hines, who is the coach of the Minnesota Wild now, came over after Dean Evison got fired. So Minnesota has been better as of late. The Dallas Stars have been a sneaky wagon all year, and we get our first goal on the goddamn river. River.
I fucking missed it, dude.
Fuck! I mean, shoot to get hot, shoot to stay hot. It wasn't pretty, but as my old coach Dane Jackson would say, Rob, muffins count, and that was a muffin right on along the ice. That was floor cheese, like you're playing a game of floor hockey at the Residence Inn at a U12 AAA tournament. My God.
Nice area pass there. Good drop back.
It's just just right on the river, wasn't it? How'd that sneak through the wickets?
That was full Matt Zuccarello.
Was he offside?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, my God. That's offside. Yeah.
I actually live bet the over. It went down to 5.5, and I just took it.
Here
we go with the fucking replay.
They're going to look at this for 15 minutes and ultimately decide that was offside. I mean, come on. It had no effect on the play. It bent.
Last night,
it is offside.
People have the balls to comment. Listen, McDavid said.
That is so close. Look at that.
That's such a bad angle, though.
I know. The first angle, I think they showed. But go ahead. What are you going to say about McDavid?
McDavid's if it's 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. The offside replay was implemented to stop Matt Duchene from going 40 feet offside and it getting caught. It wasn't meant to have this centimeter micro super HD zoomed in. It's just ridiculous.
Right.
It's gone too far. The ref should get a shot clock.
Yeah, I agree.
And it should be. You can watch it in slow mo. You can watch it in fast replay. Whatever you got to do, but there's a shot clock.
They're going to call
Let's
this
see
back.
What it is. This one's coming back.
Yeah, I mean,
Fuck you.
It was easy call there, but I agree, Rob. There should be a shot clock, and it should be like maybe like 5. What do you think? Like 3 minutes? Because at the end of the day, like if it's going to take you 15 minutes to decide whether a goal is a goal or not, I mean, come on, let's get on with the game. Let's get it rolling, and especially regular season. Like I'm a firm believer in like how do you really break it down to the pixel in the millisecond? I don't know. That one I think was obvious. It sucks that when goals get taken away though because you want offense in this league. That's what drives the entertainment. Like that goal right there, that was sick. It was an aerial pass. He picks it up, makes a nice little drop play to Robertson. Robertson throws it on the floor, cheese, and ultimately, scores a goal there. But it's taken away, and we got a nice little look here at Minnesota in the offensive zone right now, massaging it. Brock Faber.
We got
up top.
We got Houston in the chat. We got Florida. We got another Texan in the chat. We
H-Town, baby.
Jacksonville, Florida in the chat. We have Miami in the chat. We have a guy saying Canadian. Are you Swish? Are you Canadian Swish?
I kind of am. I'm from Wisconsin, baby, and I went to school at North Dakota, so that's where my fucked up accent kind of originates. But back to the game here, folks, is Scoot Wedgwood plays the puck along the end wall through the trapezoid as Freddie Gaudreau sends it down the ice, and Nicholas Lundqvist picks up the puck, and he kind of turns it over for a little bit of a burger, a little bit of an in-and-out burger, maybe a Whataburger if you're in Texas. Right now, Jamie Benn digging that puck like he's reaching for, a golden nugget up his nose. Oh,
what is that fucking sound?
I don't know.
The tunnels under here? Fucking. Oh! Good block right there.
Yeah, good block,
the fuck that was.
Jamie Benn picks up the puck, and he is straight-legged. Sends it to Evgeny Datnov, who is outnumbered 3-on-1. He just tries to get it below the dots, but is unable to as Freddie Gaudreau makes a nice little play, and it is sent out eventually to the Dallas blue line. Folks, again, 5 minutes to play here in the first frame. We will get at your questions. I believe around the 3-minute marker if there is a whistle. If not, we will catch you on the first intermission. Craig Smith, that's a name.
Holy shit, Craig Smith is in the NHL?
Yeah, Madison, Wisconsin. He came over from, he was in Boston. He went over to Washington, and then he signed a 1-year deal with Dallas this past year. I don't think he's doing a ton, but he's playing a nice little bottom 6 role. He's a guy, Rob, that scored five times, maybe 6 times, 20 odd goals in Nashville.
What the fuck?
He was a player back in the day.
Yeah, there's a lot of Wisco boys in there.
There is, yeah.
A lot of guys from Boston, Minnesota. Yeah, that's going to work.
That's going to work. Folks, again, 4:15 right now in the game, in the first frame. The score right now, 0-0. Not a ton of action. Shots are still 9-6 in favor of the home team, the Dallas Stars, live from the American Airlines Center, but most importantly, live from the couch with Bobby Gucci and Jay Swish, bringing you the best coverage you can't find anywhere else. Come on, get a shot on that, Lindell. My God, why are you throwing it like 3 feet wide to Sagan for a tip play? It's like, fella, they got the picket fence set up. You're not going to do anything there.
Speaking of tip play, does anybody know if that chick with the gigantic rack is sitting behind the bench for Dallas? I feel like she's been a little quiet. I just want to know if she's okay. I don't want to look. It's not all about her front porch. I just want to know, as a friend, is she okay?
I don't know if she might have re-nuked too, getting them ready for April, right? Like she might be on the IR right now. Who knows if she got a new set, if she's just hanging out. Who knows what's going on with her? Right now in the game, we're going to go to our final commercial break of the first period before we get to intermission. Again, right now, 0-0. That goal from Robertson was called back. That sucks. Gooch, what do we got in the chat right now? What are the people saying?
You guys going to come up to Ottawa at some point? Yeah, I think we're going to tour the whole world at some point. I think we're even going to end up in Pakistan, but we have live shows in Calgary next week at Cowboys. Get your tickets. I tweeted the link. We have a live show in New York City, including the after party after the game. Tickets will be on sale. We're going to be in the Toronto area. Not sure what we're doing there yet, but yeah, we're going to try to get up there. What is the advantage of spray painting a stick a different color? Thomas Hurdle sprays his red. Just something I noticed, Swish.
Yeah, I think for the spray paint, a lot of guys like to go black. I think it just kind of dulls it out. You kind of dust it off at the bottom. You take away the decals. Maybe it's a little bit of a louder stick up top. Some guys honestly like the weight of the spray paint. It makes the bottom of the blade a little bit heavier, and it just looks a little cleaner. Now, if you're a guy that doesn't tape your whole blade too, it just looks a lot cleaner, especially with the black. Some guys will go white, like Willie Styles Nylander.
Some racist guys will go white.
Yeah, some guys will go white because they use white tape, like Willie Styles Nylander. He uses those Sherwood sticks, so he goes white spray at the bottom of the blade and then white tape. So I think it's just a personal preference. I think it adds a little style. I think it's a little flash. I honestly think it's pretty cool.
Okay, we have a Gauthier question, Swish. I think I'm all like, I have no energy to even talk about the situation.
Yeah.
We need both sides of the story, but your take.
So what I was hearing, and I take this at gospel, this is per sources and also per Elliot Friedman from just what I've gathered in terms of reading and what I've seen from him on 32 Thoughts. Basically, is what it came down to, what people think is last season, if you back it up, he was playing at Boston College. As a 19-year-old, he wanted to sign with the Philadelphia Flyers. So he met with Danny Briere. He met with president at the time, Keith Jones, and they kind of talked about signing a deal coming into play. But the reason why they weren't able to sign him, because if they signed Gauthier last year and he was able to play games, Philadelphia would have been over the cap and hit with an overage bonus that would have leaked into this year. So what Philadelphia was saying was like, why would we sign you right now? Because we don't want to take that penalty leading into next year with basically the whole NHL against the cap. Yes, we're not going to be a playoff team or a team competing for the cup, but we want to not, take this penalty. And why don't you just sign an ATO, which is an amateur tryout, go down to the American Hockey League, play a few games, or if you don't even want to do that, sign just in the summer after World Championship. Oh! Talk about the kid
Joe Pavelski.
Clover, Wisconsin, baby. He just gets it done.
Oh, my
He's
God.
like a fine wine. He's better with age, Rob. My God.
Right upstairs where Grandpa hides the butt plug and Grandma has no idea he's even into that shit.
Oh, my God. That was top shelf 1942, like you find that bottled blonde. Holy jumping. You need the ladder to get that thing. Jesus.
Oh.
Far side bunker. Holy fuck. That was Don Julio 1942 with the side of, Casa Azul.
Just absolute booger picker. Like, picking your boogers in the car.
Right
like,
under
no one
the
can see it.
bar. Jiminy Christmas. Again, you need a ladder or a stool to pick that bottle off the shelf. My God, that was cough syrup with a hint of Casa Azul. Joe Pavelski, like a fine wine. Shout out to the kid from Plover, Wisconsin, an American hero. Back to Cutter Gauthier, Rob, just quickly.
Just right under the bar, like a sneaky hand job.
Ooh, sneaky hand job, a reverse hand job, maybe a rim job, an RJ Umberger. Anyways, folks, oh my God, Foligno missed on that one. Yeah, back to Gauthier. Again, it is believed that he wanted to sign last year. Philadelphia wasn't able to do it. They didn't want to pay the penalty against the cap because they would have been over. His bonuses, the way his contract was structured as a top 5 pick, would have sent Philly over the cap. Again, ultimately leading to a penalty this year. So they said, hey, why don't you just sign at the start of next year? You can come in, you can make the team, you can be a top 6 forward. We'll pay you then. That wasn't received correctly or the right way, which forged a wedge in the relationship, Rob. And ultimately, I think it led to a little bit of bad blood. Now, that is my interpretation. Have I talked to the kid? No. Do I think it's soft? Yes. Who knows if it's true, but that's a guy like Elliot Friedman is saying, and I trust his word.
Yeah, I definitely trust Elliot. I think there's 2 sides to every story. Sometimes there's even 3 sides if you really got to get your way out of a lie.
Right.
But
especially
yeah,
3-way.
Someone in the chat, said, Jordan, you played on the Wolves with Binner, and also, no, I'm not from Arizona, and also shout out to Naperville, and also thank you for coming to Calgary. I just want to knock all those out.
Yeah, coming to Calgary, play with Binner, was my roommate for 2 years in Chicago with the Wolves down in the jungle. Folks, we will get to you at the intermission break. Again, 2:20 to play if you're following along right now, live from the American Airlines Center. We have 1-0 Dallas Stars over the Minnesota Wild. Joe Pavelski just went bunker, far side bunk. Or again, you hide the Casa Azul and you need a stool to get that thing. My God, that was a sweet shot. He is unbelievable. Shots 10-5 in favor of Dallas. Minnesota, they looked okay. Are they a boring team a little bit? Are they a team that really gets out of the first or second round? Well, that's why you roll the goddamn tape. To me, as an asshole sitting on the couch, no, they've always been a traditionally boring team to watch, Rob. But hey, who am I to say, baby?
Yeah, Swish. Like you said, we are just a couple assholes on the couch. But this game, I'm just totally not interested in. I mean, there's been a decent pace, I guess you can say.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, there's just a lot of back and forth through the neutral zone, a lot of pucks being dumped. But we're going to stick around here because that's what we do. 1:25 remaining in the first for those of you that are following along. And just getting to the Cutter Gauthier situation, I actually thought that it had something to do with Briere's kid kicking a wheelchair down the staircase. But apparently, I just want to confirm that's not the reason.
I thought, did you see Sean Avery said something like that too?
No,
oh, it's hilarious. He was saying like maybe he didn't want to play for Briere, his kid that knocked someone out of a wheelchair down a set of stairs. Maybe he just didn't want to play for Tortorella. Who knows? There's a lot of bursts. I think if you're Cutter Gauthier, and you're a top 5 pick and you just got traded at Anaheim, why wouldn't you just come out and just settle all the scores and tell people how you really feel?
That's what I said.
Who gives a shit?
That's what I said.
Come on and be like, you know what? I didn't want to play for Tortorella. I didn't want to go to Philly. And it is what it is. A guy like Keith Jones is such a G. He just came on. He's like, if you don't want to be a Flyer, well, then don't be a Flyer. We'll fucking move you. And there's so many good hockey players in the NHL. And how many really good hockey players are there? there's a lot of good hockey players. And if he really turns out to be like a franchise premier player, then okay, this trade could be maybe lopsided. But Rob, something I know, there's a lot of good players out there, bro.
Yeah, no, I think like he should have just came out and said it. He should have, and look, he could have just said, he could have absolutely lied, which would have been really cool. He said, look, I wanted to sign with the Flyers, but I'm actually openly gay. And Keith Jones looked me right in the face. He goes, well, we don't appreciate homosexuals in the organization.
Right.
And then you start a fire that way, Swish. I don't know if that's the best.
You reverse it on him. Yeah.
That's what I would have done. I would have just lied.
Yeah. The old reversal, you know, you think you got me pinned, boom, I'm on top now, and I'm looking at you right in the eyes, motherfucker.
Yeah, you go right up, you call a press conference for your agent and say they won't sign me because they are homophobic.
Right.
And that's how you really get your career going.
Right.
I think that would be the best move for him.
Yeah, you can play that card, right? So anyways, folks, back to the game right now. 40 seconds to play in the first frame. We have the Dallas Stars leading the Minnesota Wild 1-0. I would like to see a guy like Matt Duchene and his guitar get going. It looks like he has his, his beloved six string right on that 95 jersey. These jerseys are a little bit weird for me, Rob. It looks like you're at a roller rink or maybe a laser tag event where the lights are low and it's just a glow-in-the-dark kind of fest, and all of a sudden you run into a creeper in the corner and he's trying to steal your laser gun like Michael Jackson at Never Never Land, and now it's something's up your butt and you're uncomfortable. Anyways, back to the game. 10 seconds to play the first, and we have a score of 1-0. Folks, we will get to your questions at the break. Oh, a last little chance there. It was blocked and steered away by none other than Ryan Suter, who's played about 1,500 games. Jordan Binnington joining us, folks, in 20 minutes, 7:30 Central Standard. That is 6:30 Mountain.
Is it 7:30?
3:30 Hawaiian. So we have about 20 minutes until Binnington comes on. But before Binner gets to us and you, the people, well, let us know where you're tapping in from. What are you doing tonight? It is Hump Night. Wednesdays and Thursdays at Hockey Night Scottsdale are always Ladies Night. Brought to you by Wet Jeans and Heat Daddy merch, as well as Live and Five Pod and Butter Golf. Heat Daddy, what do we have in the chat? Where are the people tapping in from? Again, not the most exciting period, but we're trying to bring you the heat over here in the best coverage you can't get anywhere else, live from the couch in North Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the Dallas jerseys you mentioned too. A lot of people like those jerseys. I'm with you on that. I feel like just that 12-year-old that lives in a cul-de-sac in Connecticut that's really good at NHL 24 made those, and there's just Cheeto dust all over the place. There's goldfish in his belly button. His parents are still together. They still support him, but he's a fat little bastard, and I feel like that's the kind of vibe that those jerseys give me. But anyway, getting to the chat, you got to put 10,000 and a hook on one team to win the chip. Who would it be? Well, for me, Swish, I'm going to go with the Golden Knights repeating. I know that's actually, I'm going to give you three. I'm going to go with Golden Knights, Oilers, and Toronto because I'm personally biased. Obviously, I want the Coyotes to win as well, but those are going to be my, if I had to pick just one, let's go with Toronto Maple Leafs.
Letty bias. My three teams, well, you picked three. I'm going to go one. Vegas Golden Knights repeating is probably my first overall, just on top of my head. I just think if they can get healthy, Aiden Hill can come back, swing, and I think they've gone through their fair share of adversity in terms of injuries early in the season. And when they peak about April, I think that'll only benefit them. So I think the Vegas Golden Knights repeating is probably on my big board. And then number two, I think somehow if Colorado can squeeze out a center, maybe Lindholm from the Calgary Flames. Maybe I don't even know who else. I don't even want to mention a kid from the Arizona Coyotes. Maybe they could squeeze out. I don't think he'd be moving. But I think if the Colorado Avalanche can get one more center, I just think that team is so dangerous. So those would be my 1-2. And then if I'm going over to the East, I don't know, bro. It just seems so open over there. And I don't know. I mean, Florida looks okay. You obviously have teams like the Rangers. But I would say Colorado and Vegas. Whoever comes out of the West, I am taken to win it all.
This is a good point coming from Ogwe 1. They always talk about the goals that are 1 millimeter off, but never about the would-be onside goals that are miscalled offside. I think it works both ways. Obviously, you do have a point there. I just think I want to see more goals. I don't want to see goals being taken away over millimeter, 15-minute offside. So as a fan, I understand what you're saying, devil's advocate. I wanted to shed some light on that good point there.
All in.
Halifax is in.
Halifax,
Chicago
Bella,
is in.
Chi-Town, Chirac, baby, stand up.
Whataburger is overrated. I completely agree. I had Whataburger one time. I was bedridden for the next 10 days. It was disgusting.
What a burger. My God, that'll turn your guts inside out, and you'll be puking out like a liver before you even know it. And all of a sudden, you shit out a kidney and like a cat. It's just insane how disgusting that place is. In and out, I guess, if you're going a burger, fast food style, throwing both ways after having about 20 drinks at the bar.
Has Jay Switch ever considered getting into the play-by-play business?
That is my goal. See, camper fella. I would love to do it. I think that is the skill that you just kind of try to emulate in terms of a young Mike Doc Emmerich. You look at guys like even Gary Thorne or some of these guys, Jim Nance, those guys that can really call a game, throw them from both sides. I don't know, John Forsling, some of these guys, Pat Foley back in the day with the Chicago Blackhawks. I think it's just so cool how good they were at their jobs and how on top of the game they were. And the good guys, you just draw a line. They're just following the game the whole time. So yeah, I mean, short story long there, I would love to do it eventually.
You guys familiar with the Bud Light NHL Plus Minus Award that the league used to hand out in the mid-2000s? That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, they used to hand out the Bud Light Plus Minus for the player, obviously with the best plus minus. So, I mean, now it's Wrench Light, right? It's not Bud Light, it's Wrench Light. So, yeah, they used to do that back in the day. I think plus minus, though, for Rob is a very overrated stat. Now, if a guy is going for the Masters and he's like minus 55, that's probably not perfect. But this stat in general, I think is just phantom. Maybe it's coming from a guy that always had just a brutal plus minus.
We have more comments on the offsides. We did touch on that a little bit. We were saying they got to use a shot clock. Yeah, maybe Corey Perry to the Oilers, dude. I don't know. That sounds kind of good, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get a guy at a very cheap rate. He's going to come in for $750K, and then it's going to be prorated. So you only really have to pay him probably, $200K in real dollars if you sign up in and around the trade deadline. I just don't think. Yeah, I just don't think, right now is when he's going to get signed. I think it's going to be sometime after the All-Star break. I think sometime in February is when you get a guy like Corey Perry going somewhere and then adding to a playoff team in a bottom six role. And I mean, he still can play, man.
Yeah, I love how we pull up this guy's questions every week, and it's just a guy with no shirt on that's ripped.
Yeah.
The New York show, we are putting on more tickets. It's probably going to be tomorrow. But yeah, dude, I think if you just show up, I mean, I think worst case Ontario, you're not going to get kicked out. But if you already have an RSVP, I'd try to grab another one for a friend.
Yep.
But if not,
try to grab a ticket, and then worst case Ontario, show up, and then if you don't get in, if they say you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, we will be having a post-game shaker at the Canuck after the game. So the plan is to do the live show before, obviously, and then go to the Ranger game that night versus Vegas Golden Knights, a hell of a tilt, East versus West, and then go back to the Canuck and party with you people and just mix it up, Jaeger, Fireball, Irish coffee. So those tickets for the post-game party will be going live probably on Friday. Tomorrow there'll be a sneak peek of what, Rob, like 20 to 25 tickets you can buy in terms of kind of just a one-off little bit. We got that cleared per the New York Fire Department and the police department for an emergency-like situation under emergency-like conditions to release more tickets to the good people of the greater New York area.
Bella, how do the Skunks like it when you go two in the pink with the Franklin on?
Oh my God, these things have unbelievable grip, and I think they're a little bit ribbed in terms of they kind of have a little texture to them. It's like an alligator skin, so I think people really like it when you go two up the hoop, one up the chute, right? So yeah, it's been going pretty well. I mean, I've got to wash them. I've taken them to the dry cleaner a couple times just to get them dusted off. I've even taken them to the car dealership just in terms of getting them disinfected. But yeah, all is well, and I'm looking at adding probably another set of Franklins. I got 3 right now, but you can never have enough set of mitts. Folks, if you're listening out there, grab yourself a set of Franklin mitts. No free ads to Franklin. I just love the product so much, so we're giving them a free ad. But yeah, these work out well.
Yeah, once you watch a game with the mullet, nothing else compares, buddy. It's actually true. I get why everyone's like, oh, it sucks. It's an NHL team. All fair. I mean, it's 4,600 people. All those guys have played in better rinks as junior in college. But from a fan perspective, I kind of never want them to leave the mullet. You are right on top of the rink. You are right on these guys. I mean, you are breathing down their necks. It's almost like you're sharing a twin bed with these guys, Swish. I think it's great for the fan experience.
It's like watching your 2 best buddies in the backyard duke it out on a waterbed. I mean, it's crazy what the energy in that building is. There's only like 10 rows of seats in terms of actual stands and seating, and then you have the standing room only, and it's just a tight little area, and it's like you're in a little mousetrap, and 2 teams in the National Hockey League, some of the best stars in all of hockey are there. You have David Pastrnak there the other night, Brad Marchand. It's hilarious that you can really make out the words what they're saying on the ice, and they're just brawling it out there. So yeah, it's like a backyard street fight in terms of what the real atmosphere brings. And like you said, I mean, I hope they get a new rink, but from a pure fan standpoint, it's like watching your favorite band in a little concert venue.
Yeah, it's like going on xhamster.com with a VR headset on. It's really just unbelievable. Okay, thoughts on Zegras. Buddy can be nasty, but seeming like a cancer in Anna. I don't see him sticking around forever. Swish, I'll hand this one off to you for the expert analysis you can't find anywhere else on Hockey Night Scottsdale.
Yeah, so Trevor Zegras, right? He gets off to a tough start this year. He gets in the contract negotiation. He doesn't ultimately get the term or the deal he wants. He's pissed off about that. So he goes in late to camp. He ultimately signs right before the season. He doesn't get the training camp. Then he goes in late, and he goes into a coach. Well, now this coach in Anaheim, who's a very old school coach in Greg Cronin, is trying to turn the ship around. He's trying to really instill a winning culture, a hard, demanding culture. And does that really fit Zegras' mold and kind of makeup of what he is? I would say no. So I think right away, again, signing late, not getting into camp, then getting thrown right into the shuffle with a new coach who's trying to prove his point, probably trying to teach him too much defensively, has them thinking. And it's just not a recipe for success. I think a guy like Zegras, Rob, yes, he has to be on a leash, but you got to let the kid go and play. Again, do I need a Michigan every game? No. Do I need to play like I'm, on an and one mixtape tour and I'm out there with Skip to My Lou hot sauce and, white chocolate? Or I don't know. I don't know if that's the ultimate way to play, like the professor with the handles out there. But I think there's a little bit of a happy medium where they could reach. And hopefully the kid can figure it out because he's been hurt a little bit. It's been a tough way of the road for Zegras. He loses his best friend in Jamie Drysdale, his roommate there now. So tough times for Zegras. But, hey, when you're making over 5 bananas and you're living in Newport Beach, life could be worse, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fit for everybody, right? I mean, I think the shit talking around Zegras, I think a lot of it is kind of unwarranted from a fan's perspective. I don't know what goes on in the locker rooms because I'm just a fucking douchebag on the couch. But I think a lot of fans are like, oh, he's soft, he's this, he's that. Like, whatever it is, there's a fit. I mean, the guy's skilled enough to be in the league, and hopefully he finds the right fit somewhere.
Binnington giving us the 10-minute warning, but I agree, Rob. That was a great analysis in terms of why you ragging on the kid. I honestly think, at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, he's a different personality, and hockey needs that. Hockey needs guys that are a little bit different, willing to talk, willing to put the mic on and go out there and just say whatever the hell's on his mind. That's kind of honestly like us sitting on the couch. Anyways, he's doing it from the National Hockey League level.
Yeah, definitely holding it down for us sober folk. Thank you for joining. We appreciate everybody.
Hold it down for the sober folk. It is a dry January, Rob. Well, more like a damp January. I don't think you can really put away the piss. Now, who am I to say? If you have a problem or you need help, let me know. Go low and slow with it. But again, maybe dry January. I just think, come on, why are we quitting for a month?
I can't quit for a day. I have a serious drinking problem. It's really affecting my relationships with my friends and my family, but that's besides the point.
That is neither here nor there right now.
I work for the Coyotes here. Appreciate you guys coming out. Y'all are hilarious. Keep it up, boys. We appreciate that. Always support the Coyotes.
Thank you, fella. We appreciate you.
I wanted to see this. Rob, you're in Arizona. Why are you wearing a toque? My friend, go to the weather app, look at Scottsdale, and look at the temperatures out here. When I woke up, it was 31 degrees this morning, Fahrenheit.
That is Fahrenheit.
At AJ's, they had the handicap section blocked off because there was a bunch of black ice, and they didn't want the old people getting out of their car and breaking their hip. So it is actually cold in the desert. Go to geography class, AutoGav, and you will learn that it's pretty cold in the winter here. Thanks, Sturdy Max. Yeah, that actually did happen, though. Hope we're doing well, fellas. Always nice to turn to Hockey Night Scottsdale. Thank you,
Thank you for tuning in, baby.
When are you making your way to Jersey for a game, dude? I would love to go get my rim just stuffed in section 314 at the Prudential Center.
That was insane.
Isn't that just sound incredible?
It was like she was eating a thing of nachos, dipped her hands in that nacho cheese, and then just went funky butt love up her boyfriend's hoop.
And I think she sucked on it.
Oh, she for sure did suck. It's not like she's put hand sanitizer in that thing. She's definitely just probably going right under her nose and just giving herself a nice little poo mustache. My God, that is disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing that picture, I couldn't get over it, dude. It was like days went by. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. My mom was calling me. I wasn't answering. She was texting me. She was like, Rob, why won't you answer the phone? And I was like, nothing. It's all right. And then she kept calling me. I finally answered my mom. And I said, Mom, I saw a picture of a guy at the New Jersey Devils game getting his butthole fingered in the crowd during the anthem, and I haven't been right. And she said,
my God. That was a straight walking taco. That was disgusting.
She said, that's all right, Rob. Call me when everything's good. Take your time. So getting back to the chat here. I honestly had no idea it would get like that in Arizona. -2 in Nodak right now. Holy nippin' peaches nippin' is right.
Shout out to the good people of North Dakota, and shout out to Grand Forks, North Dakota. I had my Bun Lounge and Casino tarp on yesterday, the old hoodie over at the iconic Mullet Arena. So right now, trying to get Jordan Binnington on, folks, sending him the live stream link, and he will be on soon. Folks, again, this is the first intermission break live from the couch here in North Scottsdale, Arizona, bringing you a Central Division matchup tonight featuring the home team, the Dallas Stars, and the Minnesota Wild. Right now, 1-0, courtesy of Joe Pavelski. Again, there was a goal called off due to an offside play. I think it was offside. I know it was offside, but you hate to see when the boys take away some goals from the fellas because, again, hey, we're in the entertainment business. Come on. That was floor cheese. That was a muffin. You love to see that going on a goalie. These guys are hard enough to score on. I mean, we're going to talk to a goalie here, a guy I used to love open up his 5-hole, especially in a game of 3-puck at the end of practice. So we'll get to that with Binner. Again, folks, if you haven't voted for JB, go vote for JB on NHL.com. Let's get this guy in the All-Star game. Let's get him where he belongs. It is his hometown, Toronto. He is an All-Star. Come on. Let's get him there, baby. A cup champ. Come on, baby.
Yeah, everybody go to Twitter and type in or go to NHL.com/vote and pick Jordan Binnington. He's a friend of the show, and I'm tired of fucking people having a misconceived, predetermined bullshit notion of this guy. Oh, he's a baby, he's this and that. You don't know the guy. You're an asshole. I think most of you would like him.
Yeah, we would love him.
But anyway, if you go to our Hockey Night in Scottsdale tweet. This is a good question. I somehow missed it, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yep.
Tag hashtag NHL All-Star vote. Write Jordan Binnington or tag his Twitter to vote.
That's
We're gonna Hockey Night in Scottsdale is gonna get him in.
Sorry, Rob, to cut you off there.
No, you're good.
Bin Nasty is his Twitter handle. So everything that Bobby Gooch just said, again, my apologies for cutting you off, but it's tag Jordan Binnington. That is his Twitter handle is @BinNasty. So, again, if you haven't figured out how to vote, go to NHL.com. You can vote that way. Votes are worth double today. So, please get those in before 11:59 p.m., whether you're on the East Coast, wherever you're at, Hawaii, tapped in from wherever, Finland, those things might have expired already. But if you're on this side of the Western Hemisphere, please get those votes in for our boy. Folks, he is a little misunderstood. Eric Church, Mr. Misunderstood. If you knew him, he's a great guy. He is a character of the game, and he wants to provide entertainment for you, the people. So let's get on Benner's back and ride him off into the sunset, baby.
Next two cities you want to see with an NHL team, what ones do you think actually get them? You know what? I would sneaky – first of all, I'm conflicted. I don't think there should be like 34 fucking teams. I think that's like too many teams. Actually, I don't know. Anyway, I really want to see Salt Lake City get a team.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just think the fans would love it up there because there's nothing really to do. I mean, you got to bang your bird with a sheet in between you. Like, what else are you going to do?
You can't – yeah, and if you're not married, you have to do the soak, which you know where the soak is? Yeah. You literally put your wrench in there and you just sit. So you can't pump. Now, folks at home, a confirmed kill to me is 10 pumps. So if you did 9, is that still a soak? I don't know. Viewer discretion advised, and you'd have to probably ask, you know, the Mormon community and people like Steve Young and Brigham Young University, but that would be a great spot. I do like Atlanta for whatever reason.
Atlanta.
Because I want to get to Atlanta, baby. I want to have a live show at Magic City.
Ooh, I want a big black. I mean, I want to see good hockey there.
I want some wings, Rob, and I want some thighs in my face, baby. I think just going to Atlanta, I think that would be great. I think hockey could work there. Now it would have to be on the right side of town in terms of maybe not downtown where they tried before. Maybe it's a nice suburban area where you can really have an arena and a gaming community. I don't know what that looks like, but I think if you did it right in Atlanta, you could bring a team there, and it's a great sports city. And I think hockey is big enough in the South now where let's try it, baby. Let's go for round 3. Why not?
Yeah, I think Atlanta, I don't know why that Atlanta didn't work to begin with. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. It's like because Atlanta, it's not the right market. But I disagree. I think you just have to try a little bit harder. Now, they did when they tried to make the all-black team with Bufflin, Kane, who else? They had a team with
Johnny Oduya.
Johnny Oduya, how are you?
Johnny Oduya thinks so.
I think it takes more than that. Like I think you actually have to give it a real son of a bitch of an effort. But yeah, that would be cool. Imagine going to Atlanta for a game. Holy shit!
I think that it's such a cultural city. I think that it's a great sports city, and I think hockey there would be just awesome. If you could, like I said, you have to calculate it and do it right. Put the arena somewhere that has a cool setup, but I would love to see Atlanta do it right and bring hockey there because growing the game is what this sport is all about.
Yeah, I just put up a question, but the guy's profile picture has titties in it, and YouTube will not let that go. Okay, I logged off for a sec. We are rocking with silicone. Oh, speaking of titties, we're just a couple guys talking about titties.
God damn it, do I love silicone. Just a little too much. Anyways, folks, right now we are going to go to the second period. Bobby Gucci, Jay Swish. We will be bringing on Jordan Binnington, 2019 Stanley Cup champion, an aspiring all-star for this year's game in Toronto, his hometown. Right now, Bobby, live from the couch in North Scottsdale, bringing you the live action from the American Airlines Center featuring the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. Right now, Bob, 1-0 in favor of Dallas. That shot by Joe Pavelski, I can't get over. It honestly gave me a little Tiger Wood in the pants, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, my butt cheeks were barking. I mean, that's a hell of a sniper. Just talking about the guy. And you know what? It doesn't matter how old you are. There's only a certain time in life when it matters how old you are when it pertains to females especially. For me, I mean, I guess you can't be a Kevin Spacey either, Swish.
Right.
But if you're that old and you're putting pucks in the net, it doesn't fucking matter.
Dutchie's guitar.
Oh! Could you imagine how proud of his guitar? His guitar would have been so proud of him.
Imagine he didn't have his guitar on because it looked like it kind of got lassoed in his little chicken wing there where he was trying to go low blocker. But back to the Joe Pavelski point, there's nothing wrong with having a little Just for Men touch of gray in your hair and still getting it done. I mean, What a goddamn athlete. The kid from Plover, Wisconsin. And folks, we're getting a good look at the Minnesota Wild right now. They are a team that honestly reminds me of just a ground and pound NFL team. They were going to run the ball. They're going to hand the ball off 45 times and try to make the same play. And maybe they'll have 200 yards rushing and they'll win the game 2-1. Or maybe they got to learn to maybe fucking pass and air it out a little bit. Because Minnesota over the years, whatever coach or system they've had, and I'm not trying to Ladislav Nagy on this team, but they've just been the same kind of makeup of a team.
Well, they keep fucking going to the playoffs and bouncing in the first round, but nobody cares because they're not Toronto. Mm-hmm. That's all they're doing.
Right.
Listen, I feel bad for Minnesota fans because Minnesota chicks are hot and they're nice too. I'm used to girls that are hot, but they're huge cunts. So for me, I feel bad for the state of Minnesota because it's almost like there's no urgency to get them over the hump switch. Like, when do you ever hear urgency about the Wild?
Yeah, you don't. I mean, you don't. Somebody called 911, shorty fire burning on the dance floor. Like, I don't know. Minnesota in general is just a little sleepy. It's a little cold. I do love the people of Minnesota. Look, I'm a Wisconsin guy, so I always have a little bit of a Lenny bias in terms of what state I like better. I went to North Dakota. I wasn't the biggest Gopher guy, but I do like the state of Minnesota. I lived there for 5 years, Rob. And if they could have a team in terms of, a really exciting product, like a guy like Kaprizov, he puts asses in the stands. He puts cheeks on the glass. But we need more of that. We need more guys like that are exciting. A guy not playing tonight, Ryan Hartman, I love the way he plays. Shout out to the Chicago Mission. He's always played with that criminal element and can, again, bring that entertainment value up, but we need more of that.
We need more criminals in the game.
We need more criminals, and we need more guys like Kaprizov who can massage the pill like they're working at Massage Envy, right? A Swedish massage, a Russian spa, something like that, because these guys, I don't know, they're just missing a little bit of steam.
Fucking sign Daniel Sprong. Now, here's a guy that'll cold cock somebody in the face in the offseason. The Minnesota Wild need that. Oh, shit. I didn't even see him down there. All right, actually, I'll let you kick this up.
Alrighty, folks, we are now pleased to be joined by 2019 Stanley Cup champion and current goaltender of the St. Louis Blues, a fella aspiring to make the All-Star game. Folks, he's earned it with his play. The St. Louis Blues this year kicking at a little bit over a 900 save percentage, 13 or 14 wins on the year. Mr. Jordan Binnington, fella, how we doing? Welcome to Hockey Night in Scottsdale. The people are obviously pleased and honored to have you here.
What's going on, boys? Heat Daddy?
Hey, what's up, man? Nice to meet you through the internet. Thanks for joining the show. This is awesome. Nice to meet you through a fucking screen.
Yeah.
JB, where you tapping in from right now? Are you live from St. Louis at your house, or where are we at right now, baby?
Yeah, I'm tapping in here in the basement in St. Louis. I got the double screen, so I got a little hockey back here, a little hockey over here, so we can we got hockey all around. But I'm in St. Louis. We got a game tomorrow night versus the Rangers.
Nice.
So, Yeah, man, just had a nice little dinner. The wife made a nice little dinner, and now just kind of resting, prepping, and doing things for the rest of the night.
I love it. And are you kicking tomorrow? Are you in the pipes? Because I believe you guys were on a road trip. Where were you last night? Philadelphia, maybe, and then you got back home. And are you going in the pipes tomorrow? Do you know yet, or what's going on? A good team in the Rangers coming into town, brother.
Yeah, almost. We were at home last game against Florida, but I'll be in. I'll be in tomorrow night. We have a bit of a stretch here with a lot of good teams, and it's a good test for us. Obviously we had the coaching change, and we've kind of been building our game from there, and just a good stretch of games, good competitive hockey. You want to be in tight games like this and find ways to win. I think it really builds character and morale. So every night's a good night when you're playing in the show. So it's going to be fun,
100%. And like JB, I just wanted to ask you and give us a little intel in terms of the fans listening and people tuning in. Since the coaching change, I know it was, it is what it is. Chief brought you guys the Stanley Cup. You had a great run with Chief, but how's it been with Banny at the helm? It seems like the boys, you always have that response initially after a coaching change. It's a little bit of a wake-up call, maybe a kick in the ass, but it seems like you guys have really bought into his systems. You're playing well. How's that been, and how are the boys feeling right now? Because a guy like Bobby Thomas seems to be at another level right now for you guys.
Yeah, I think first things first, just it was tough to see Chief go just after all the history we've all had together and him in St. Louis. So that was tough. But like you said, like it's a business, right? And we all gotta be playing for our jobs and for the city, for the organization, and we got to find a way to kind of rally together. And guys like Robbie Thomas and some of our decor has been really strong too, actually, which is good to see. But yeah, like you said, I think we're really we're playing together, playing hard, and we're being patient with our offense coming. I think it's starting in the D zone. Defense leads to good offense. I like that as a goalie, but I think the rest will come, and it's good. It's been good sorting through it.
Peter, I'm going to switch gears here for a second. What was it like playing with Jay Swish? I met the guy. Listen, we're kind of the same age, basically, but unfortunately for me, I was playing an absolutely brutal level of hockey my entire life, so we never quite crossed paths until after our respective careers, even though I didn't really have one. But what was it like being in the locker room with a guy like Swish? Like, obviously a glue guy, obviously a guy you want to be around. Not to be a nut chugger right now, but I want to know, like, what's it like being in the room with the guy to my left?
I would say it was everywhere it was. It kept it light, just from the stuff he'd write. When you tape your stick and you write stuff on the knob of your stick, it would just be something different every night. He would, which would be funny. And then the other thing he would do is he would have like a water bottle, and you'd take the label off and you would tape it up, and he'd write something on there like,
sniper. I always had the sniper juice. When I was cold, you know what I mean? I'd have the sniper juice. I'd have the sniper juice out and be like, only professional use only. That's just straight 87 unleaded, pure gasoline in here.
Yeah. So, and you leave it on other guys' stalls too sometimes, I feel like. But and there was some other juices floating around that were pretty funny. But it was good, man. I that last year together, I think we ended up. I was playing only mostly Sundays, and Swish would rally hard for the end of a week. He'd play hard D for me, and we'd have fun out there. So, and then we actually roomed together too, which was a lot of fun for part of the year. But so all in all, yeah, glue guy.
Bitter, you gotta tell the folks the time that you weren't supposed to start for the Wolves, and you got a text like late. It was maybe like an hour before the game, and we probably lived at the time at 1 Arlington. So Arlington Heights to Rosemount, where we're playing by the airport right next to O'Hare, was probably like a 25-minute ride. And you tweeted out, like, as you were getting to the rink, like, it's okay, folks, JB on the way or something like that. Remember when you tweeted that out and like the Wolves retweeted it? It was like 25 minutes before the game.
No, man, that was so I was supposed to get sent down because I was after my suspension and then the Rodman trip, and then I was coming back
to Vegas.
So I was healthy scratch. I was
Vegas
healthy scratch. healthy scratch there for I think 8 or 9 games, and then it got to the point where it was like I'm not even dressing, from being the starter to not even dressing, and I was resisting, and then finally the goalie coach in St. Louis was like, "Hey, like you should just go down to the Cheddar for a weekend, get some games in." And finally, I was like, "All right, I'll go." I think it was a Thursday or Friday night. I have never felt like this in my life. I've never been more sick. Like I couldn't even get out of my room. You know what I'm saying? So I call him. I'm like, "Hey, I'm not messing around here. I can't make my flight. Like I'm not going down." That next day, we have a home game. So I'm sitting on the couch watching the Wolves play. And I see the goalie get hurt in the first period. So Husso got hurt, and I'm like by the phone, seeing what's up, get a text, "Hey, how you doing? Can you come to the game?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So then mid game, I drive in there. I had my gear in my Jeep Wrangler because I was supposed to get sent down. So I pull in the parking lot, carry the gear down in there, and then just suit up. And yeah, on the way, I did tweet, JB is on his way.
Don't worry, JB's on the way.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this tweet after the game. I'm like, did this guy just tweet mid-game as he was coming up the rink? I was like, that was all time. That was so funny.
It's funny because people they like crave that kind of shit, and it kind of brings me to something I wanted to ask. Like, do you typically? It's kind of a dumb question, but did you ever give a shit when you get backlash online? I know a lot. Like some of the best guys I know in person are like the greatest guys. They get the worst backlash. Like obviously we've just met, but other guys I know. They just there's a false narrative about them just because of personality they show. Like, did you ever really give a shit, or you just kind of let it roll off your back?
I've always had kind of an idea, or I would call it an idea of how I want to be. The persona, and it goes through eras, kind of, and obviously last year was a little bit of a I don't know what to call it, but a little more feisty of an era, right? And then you take a lot of heat for that. But starting when I first got called up, and then once playoffs hit, I turned my phone on basically do not disturb with all those apps, right? Like Twitter, Instagram, called it LeBron mode because that was when he was doing that for playoffs. And ever since then, man, even like on a daily basis, I'll have my apps tucked away and no notifications. So I only see what I kind of want to see. And if I see something that's not making me feel, I don't want to read it, I'll just kind of move on from it. So overall, I would say I've found a way to handle it in my own way. And because people come at you, man. And like some stuff's kind of funny, And
Right.
there were times where like I would write a message back, but not send it, And it would be I'd be like, if I sent this, it'd be pretty funny, but I'm just gonna throw this one back,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if I did that, I would probably be employable. But unfortunately, actually, I don't really give a shit. I'm probably as unemployable as they get, so I could have used that in the past. But yeah, I feel like sometimes people online, obviously it's a cesspool already, but they forget, just because you're playing in the league, just because you're making X amount of dollars, you're still human at the end of the day. But it really doesn't fucking matter as long as people are, not to make this some philosophical journey here, but as long as people are not spitting in your face, who the fuck cares what they say online? But anyway, back to you.
Yeah,
Steve.
I mean, I feel like in regular news, all that stuff, in 2 weeks, no one cares anyways, So you just got to make it through those 2 weeks, and then you're good.
It always blows over too. And like I always tell you, JB, all press is good press, baby. Your name's out there. It's swirling in the wind. And deep down, you're a good guy. And people around you know what you're all about. So, but you always do a good job of that, JB, in terms of just putting your phone away and kind of locking in. I mean, we'll always be messaging after a game, or maybe it's on an off night and it's 9 or 10 o'clock Central Standard. You're like, okay, Swish, I'm going to bed. I'm like, all right, fella, good job. Have a good night. You know what I mean? So you're always been dialed in like that. I know you're a fucking netminder, so you do your own things and you got to lock in, but you've always been a professional that way. And that what kind of makes you so special, or it is what makes you so special. So, JB, just talk a little bit about, this all-star game push you're making. I mean, obviously it's not the end of the world if you don't make it there, but you're a guy that's competitive. You've had a great season to date. So we were just pumping your tires the last 24 to 48 hours in terms of go vote for JB. It's in his hometown. I know how much the city of Toronto means to you, being with family there. So if there's one last ditch effort to get you there and get you on the big lights, the big screen, because you are that type of guy. You're a red carpet dude, right? You put the jumpsuit on, you can rock the red carpet, the bright lights. So just talk a little bit about that. I know it's not the end of the world for you, but just give the folks a little bit of, it's a little bit of a pride thing and a nice little feather in your cap.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one that I personally would like to be at, especially being in Toronto and just family and friends close by. Grew up, watching that rink, etc., going to that rink, and yeah, it would mean a lot. I think it's a great honor to be an all-star in the NHL, and this one's come down to fan voting. Obviously, if the numbers were high enough, I'd maybe be selected already. But Bob Thomas, he's been lighting it up, and I'm happy for him, his first game. So it'd be fun, man. It'd be a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. Just more bringing people together and entertaining, and little competitive juice flowing there, and then stepping through King Street a couple times. It'd be
Former King Street West legend here.
Yeah, the old stomping grounds. It would be special, man. And yeah, like you said, it's not the end of the world, but I just figured, shooters shoot. And I threw that tweet out there this morning or yesterday. And I appreciate you guys giving me the support there just to back it up. It's tough when you're in a smaller kind of market, right? Like
100%.
When you're in a Canadian city or a bigger market, they just have more people. So that kind of helps the fan voting.
Right, more in tune with things. But one last little thing I wanted to mention, JB, was so Rob over here, the Heat Daddy, has gotten to know Garrett Sparks over the years, a.k.a. Bucky Cheds. And for the people listening, obviously he was a goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs for a little bit. And he had rented this place in Toronto for probably 5, 6, 7 years while he was playing there. And he would live there during the season. And JB would rent it out from him during the off-season months. And do you remember the year you won the Stanley Cup? I mean, how could you forget this? But do you remember the legendary game of one-on-one soccer that me and Bucky Cheddar had the day after your cup party? I mean, I was stung like a bee, and you're sitting there like, Swish, can we go, have some breakfast? Like, it's like 11 o'clock. I'm like, hold on, I got to play Bucky Cheds, Garrett Sparks here in a one-on-one game with mini stick nets, and we were using a beach ball. Do you remember that? Like, the score was 1-0 after like 4 hours, and you're sitting there like, boys, wrap this shit up, and me and Bucky would not bulge. We wouldn't give an inch.
No, and there was also 2 girls that were you guys's, and I'm just sitting with them like, guys, we got to get going here. And I'm not kidding you, it was at least 30 minutes. Like,
no, it was longer than that. It was for sure.
Did he have the long hair?
Oh yeah.
It was a little mini stick net, and they were trying to score whoever scores a beach ball in first, and it just kept going, and no one broke character. And so I was just like, we got to see who wins here,
We can see who wins. We were literally playing in a shoebox too. Like, it's not like one guy would get out of the net far. We just go down to the net and just hammer a beach ball up a guy's knee, and then it would bounce to the other guy and just repeat.
I think it ended in a bank shot. I can't remember who got it though.
Yeah, it was insane.
I can't imagine Bucky Cheds just running around kicking a beach ball with those locks in the air, just full like 1985 like.
Man, you should have seen this guy's condo. Like, it was pretty legendary. But yeah,
he was. He's literally a character, and he still is. I mean, he's still JB sending me game film. So they played one night in Wilkes-Barre, and he was backing up that night. And I believe after the game, he suited up and went over to the practice rink and played men's league. And he showed me a video. Somehow he had someone filming it of him going coast to coast, toe drag around a defenseman, get in tight on the cage on the 4x6, and then went backhand toe bunker, like upstairs on the goal. He's like, Swish, you got to check out this game film, brother. He sent it to my Instagram. I was like, no way. Bucky Cheds.
After a game. I remember in Toronto, there was like he lived in the heart of the city, and there was an inline roller skating park, it was probably like a 25-minute walk. Like, it was kind of far. And Sparksy's playing for the Leafs in Toronto, and he would throw the rollerblades on with a stick and the roller hockey puck, and he'd rollerblade all the way to the rink, play, and then rollerblade back.
Yeah, what was
Oh my
what was
God.
that park? Was it like Trinity Bellows he would play at or something?
That's Trinity Bellwoods. It was just
Yeah.
that wasn't it. This one was like a
Okay.
skate park / inline park.
Yeah,
But
because he used to go suit up in the ODR too. He'd put like shades on and he'd go play like 5-on-5 on the outdoor rink at Trinity Bellows or whatever that Bellwoods. That was so funny, man. What a legend of the game, and oh
Yeah.
God, what an all-time beauty. But
Speaking of character, I just wanted to ask one thing. So, like, one of the first like kind of, I guess you could say, look into your personality I ever saw was the art "Do I Look Nervous" clip. When you kind of like had your personality on display with that stuff, was there any resistance and to just being yourself when you did that? Because that was like not a lot of whole guys. I think more so now guys are willing to, like, obviously Jack Hughes is like that. He kind of just says whatever he wants. Was there any resistance when you would just kind of be yourself like that and not too buttoned up, or what was that like?
Like I said earlier, like I knew I wanted to bring some kind of presence to of myself to the team, to the game, and I felt like it was good for the team to show that confidence and that like you're saying. And I also there was so much fire in me at that point, man, and I was just on the lookout for anything. And like I knew that line specifically, "Do I look nervous?" I knew in my head I was going to say something, because there was a little bit leading up to it, like where I was getting some bites, and then that was kind of the finale. And then I did someone on our media team here right after that one was like, "Hey, like, all right, like,
Yeah.
don't push too far." And I was like, "Buddy, I'm already ahead of you. Like, that's all I needed to do. Now let's go." And now we're on to the next thing, right? But I don't know. I also felt like I want to challenge the reporters or the journalists and have them ask, sometimes if they don't ask me a question that I would consider not a good question or lead somewhere, I'll have them repeat it and be like, "What do you want? What do you mean by that?" Or, I'll challenge them a little bit, because then in the end of the day, that makes everyone better in my mind. But and it creates a little more back and forth, a little more dialogue. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like a good reporter too. Like if I was a reporter, I would respect the hell out of that. I'd be like, "Fuck, like you know what? I gotta step up my shit too."
Yeah.
So that's a good insight.
Rob, one of the funniest things, or actually one of the, not even funny, one of the most legendary things JB I have ever seen him do was, we were on our Euro trip. It was at the end of the Chicago Wolves season. It was 2017. We did this 2-week swing where we flew to Barcelona, we did Ibiza, we did Rome, we did a couple cities in Italy. We ended up doing Amsterdam. But while we were in Rome, we went to the Colosseum. We were acting like complete assholes doing the tours and Vatican City. But JB, he brought a backpack into the Vatican and at the Colosseum. While we were there at the Coliseum, he pulls out this card, and it was signed. It was a Jordan Binnington rookie card. He already had it signed. And at the time, at the Coliseum, you couldn't go into the Coliseum because they were doing a bunch of construction, like on the battlefield part of it. And JB just looks at me, goes, "Grab your phone." I go, "Okay." He goes, "Get a video of this." He has a signed card, a rookie card. He throws it out right into the middle of the Coliseum. He goes, "This will be worth someday when someone finds it." And 2 years later, he won a mug. So it's just a pretty cool story, like how nails this guy actually is.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. I was looking at him at the time. It's like, yeah, whatever, better run a bender right now. Shut the hell up. And sure, good, man, a man of his word. So a guy that's just always been a big-time player, especially when you have to put your sack on the line. And that's what I respect most about JB. So Binner, we will let you go over here just the last little bit. Folks, again, go vote for Jordan Binnington online for the NHL All-Star Game. Today, the votes are worth double. That is till 11:59 p.m. standard, so whatever, depending what time zone you're on. Get your votes in. You can do the hashtags on Twitter. Tag Jordan Binnington with a hashtag and at BinNasty. So, JB, we appreciate you, as always, for stopping by Hockey Night in Scottsdale, brother. It's always good to chop it up with you. I love you over here. And the Heat Daddy, I think you got one of your new favorite goalies, brother.
Yeah, definitely. And just to reiterate on that shit, we'll retweet how to vote. And if you guys don't vote, this is going to be the last Hockey Night in Scottsdale ever. We're actually going to retire the show if we don't see enough votes. So the chat, this is really up to you. My future's in your hands. Swish's future. We're going to retire the show permanently if you guys don't go vote. And that is a threat. But anyway, Jordan, thanks for coming on. It's been awesome. I'm kind of bad at this interview shit, but this was great.
No,
Yeah.
you guys were flowing, man, and that was fun. It kind of went. I don't know how long I've been on here, but that was fun. Appreciate you guys, Heat Daddy. Look forward to an in-person encounter. Swish, keep it real, and then to all those who are voting, I appreciate the love, and if it doesn't work out, it's business as usual. So
We would
keep moving.
love to see you up there, Binner, for the live show. Just in terms of you being on the ice for whatever it is, the All-Star game, skills competition, both. And me and the Heat Dad will be boots on the ground up there in your home city. So we're hopefully going to see you up there. And if not, brother, as always, Jay Swish, low and slow, I would say. So, Binner, we'll watch you tomorrow, brother. Thank you for coming on. You're a legend, baby.
Night, guys.
All right, later. Thanks, bro. Folks, that was Jordan Binnington of the St. Louis Blues. I saw some questions in the chat. I think next time, maybe if there's a good fan question, we throw it up there just to spice it up a little bit. No, that was good. That was great. I appreciate the honest insight. It sucks when guys they're just like, I got to get pucks deep and go high and off the glass. Like, it's good to hear the behind the scenes shit.
Well, it's refreshing. And the guy that spent a lot of time figuring out what type of person he was, Rob, and what type of goalie. I mean, you're talking to a guy that he even said on the chat, he was basically told or forced to go down the East Coast Hockey League. I remember when Martin Brodeur, when we were roommates, Marty Brodeur was the assistant GM at the time of the St. Louis Blues, called Binner and said, hey, we're going to send you down to Kansas City in Missouri. And he goes, no, I'm not going. He just said that. And it was about a 2-week feud. And during that time where he tweeted, JB's on the way to the game, he was a third-string goalie. They were scratching him. They were completely icing him out of the organization. He wasn't on the bench for even games. He was basically practicing on his own. He was kind of just like a piece of the organization, but a pawn and just basically a castaway. And honestly, the next year, he fought through that year, somehow battled his way to a decent season. The next year, Rob, he goes to camp. They send him to Providence, to the Providence Bruins. They're like, hey, we don't have any spots for you at the American Hockey League level. You have to go play for a different organization. And that's where Binner really found himself, and he found his game and really persevered to what he is now. And at the end of the day, he had to play another half a year in the minors in San Antonio, and then finally got that call up and won the team the mug. So it's just a really cool story and just a testament of his character, of how nails the guy is. He's seen some shit, right? The guy... Yeah. He's nails, man. I
mean, look, man, to me, it sounds like betting on yourself is the way to go, right? And that's speaking of, they said, you're going to the cheese toast, and he's like, no, I'm not going. That's like any girl that's ever said, you got to beat my parents. I go, no, I'm not going.
No, not yet.
So I respect it. I'm going to bet on myself.
Right, yeah.
See if there's any birds out there.
Right, because you're 1 of 5 in the bullpen right now.
Right.
You know how many honeys I got in this? I got a lot on a T-Mobile plan right now.
And let's not get it twisted. I am a soft 4, but who's not to say I'm going after a 2? So I'm not saying that I'm a Leonardo DiCaprio here. Right. But I think the message here is switching. I kind of like that we're getting a little bit into the philosophical territory of Hockey Night in Scottsdale. The moral of the story is don't be afraid to bet on your goddamn self.
No, and that's what he did. And I think to get to where he wanted to go and ultimately where he is, you got to tap into that side of things. You got to be a deep thinker. You got to be able to pull whatever you think is inside of you and lay all the chips on the line. And like we always say over here, go fucking Johnny Chan. Go all in, baby. Push those chips right in. Put your sack on the table and say, hey, baby, I'm betting on myself, and we'll see everything rise. But right now, folks, another goal from the Dallas Stars. It is now 3-0. We missed that. I think it was a Rope Hintz goal. Maybe Mush Marchment was teamed up on the play, but I didn't see this thing. It looked like a chance at one end and ultimately led to a goal. Oh, Faber goes bar Mexico, but it stays out of the cage. And somehow, as a lot of the time it happens, the puck goes the other way 200 feet. And the other team ends up scoring a goal. So, again, folks, thanks to the legend, Jordan Binnington. I know he might be misunderstood. People might not know who the character is. But the person, I can tell you right now, I'm not saying I'm a great person, but he's a good dude. He does a lot for people, especially in the St. Louis area and just kids in general. So, awesome teammate, good chin, throws both ways. I hope one day, though, I always tell him, fella, you actually got to tilt though. You gotta square up out there.
Yeah, but I think haven't he tried and the refs getting the
last year? Yeah, last year with ridiculous. Last year with Fleury, they got in the way. Two willing combatants wanted to go at it, and the refs got away. So that was unfortunate. But I think it will be coming because he is a fiery bastard. And that goes back to the American Hockey League days. He'd be in tussles with fans. He'd be chucking them with players, blockering guys. So he's always just been that Ron Hextall-like character and just a goalie you really want to go to war with. So that's enough on the suck-off session with Binner. Folks, back to the game right now. 4:27 remaining in the second frame right now. The Dallas Stars leading the Minnesota Wild Shots 19, 9, 420 and counting in the second frame. Again, there'll be a TV timeout right around the 3-minute marker. So we'll get to the chat again. Sorry, folks, if we didn't get the questions into Bennington. I think next time we'll get a couple teed up in terms of our guests. But once you get that flow state and you want to ask your own questions selfishly, you know, Rob, it kind of gets a little hard.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just part of the show. And I know there's 185 people in here. People are floating in and out. But I just retweeted the directions on how to vote for JB. If you guys listen, I know you're probably fans of other teams, but we're trying to get this guy in the goddamn All-Star game. We're trying to shake the Earth's core right now. Over here at Hockey Night Scottsdale, we're just trying to help a guy out who helped us out. It's all about fucking helping people out. So I just retweeted the directions on how to vote. We would love to see you guys vote, please. I might even DM someone and give some fucking tap-in shirts away. I just got a brand new batch of these fucking things, but
yeah, get voting for JB again. If you follow the Heat Daddy 69420, I believe is your name, Bob, or you follow J Swish J_Swish24. There are all the directions on how to vote for JB for the All-Star game. Let's get this guy in. I think it would be a legendary push if we, the people at Hockey Night in Scottsdale, could get a guy like Bennington into the game. Folks, he deserves to be there. This team, St. Louis, they were struggling early in the year, but he was keeping them at bay. A guy with an over 900 save percentage, 13 or 14 wins on the year. He's been kicking very nicely. So, again, they played the Rangers, the Strangers at home tomorrow, a very good team.
Rangers.
Bennington, a.k.a. JB, will be in the net. So let's get this guy to the All-Star game. Let's get him boots on the ground in his beloved city of Toronto. Man, that would be awesome to see JB kicking at the All-Star game right over at Scotiabank Arena, where we will be, Rob, in just a few weeks. So, folks, again, go vote for JB, baby. Let's take a few questions.
Yeah, we'll take a couple questions. We're kind of not paying attention to this shitty game. I don't even know what the score is, but if you guys have any questions, please retype them, or I don't know. We kind of got carried away with the interview, but that's Hockey Night Scottsdale. You never know who's going to stop in. So any questions, comments, concerns? Are you mad about something? Is there something you want? It could be anything in the world. You can ask me my least favorite religion. I'll tell you. I really won't. But anyway, where did you play hockey on? Oh, that is a good point by Garrett. John Scott got in via vote. Where did you play up? Where did you play at Long Island growing up? Well, I played for a team called the Long Island Ice Cats, also known as the Long Island Ice Pussies.
The kittens.
It was a AA team, and I kind of just bounced around, man. I played for Center Reach High School. I played wherever the fuck they would accept me. I played for the Suffolk All-Star. It was called AAA Suffolk. They're a summer selects team. Nobody knows these teams, but actually the Ice Cats are below the goals, where a friend of the show, Charlie McAvoy, played.
Ooh, Chucky Mac fella.
Yeah.
Saw him play last night. Looked good. One of my favorite defensemen in the whole entire National Hockey League.
Favorite old-timey presidents? Hey, you never know what kind of question you're going to get. I don't know. You know what? I'm not really a big fan of politicians because they kind of just pump and dump stocks without telling me what stocks to pump and dump. So I'm not the biggest politician fan to answer your question fairly.
I would say probably Teddy Roosevelt, a.k.a. Teddy Ferda. I mean, a guy that just willed the American people out of the Great Depression, gave a lot of jobs out west. I mean, Teddy Ferda would be mine. Was I around in his time? No, God damn it, I wasn't. But the books I've read, which is about 3 or 4 books ever in my career, one of them had to be a Teddy Ferda book. And I actually, you know what? I respect the man. So,
yeah,
there we go.
Have you announced the All-Star? Not yet.
No, we're
going to be in the area.
I actually got a message today, Rob. We will be tapping in from – we have a couple things on the line. Details are still being hashed out, but I don't want to confirm it. I'll tell you off the air. But we are looking to get a show in, an emergency-like show. So we'll see. It's I would say it's about 70-30 right now, all in.
Oh, wow. I'd love to hear that. Good news. How bad do the Buffalo Sabres suck? We're going to get right back to that. We are 3:15 remaining. And I like how we didn't watch the second. Who cares?
No, we didn't watch the second of that period, but we had been around. So
9 shots on goal.
Yeah, it's not perfect right now for the Minnesota Wild, who are ruggling. I don't know what they did last night, if they're staying at the Ritz and maybe they hit the wet deck there. I know there's a Nobu Sushi and a Moxie's right by. The Moxie's there. Shout out to a girl named Shay. She works the bar there. Folks, again, if you're in the Dallas area, head over to Moxie's. Say hi to Shay.
Nothing like shouting out a waitress on the street.
Yeah, shout out Shay. So if you're listening, baby, low and slow with it, you make a hell of an Irish coffee. Anyways, back to the game. 3:05 remaining if you're following along right now. The Dallas Stars and Duchesne's Guitar are leading the Minnesota Wild right now in a little bit of a sleeper of a game, a Sleepy Joe affair on a Wednesday hump day in the Lone Star State as we get a quick look at the Patty, the big rig maroon. 3-time mug winner, still uses the Drury curve. I love guys that still use the pizza shovel. Honestly, it's just a hilarious curve. You just open up your hands and everything's just sauce. It's just sauce across the ice. It's sauce on a pizza. It's just unbelievable.
You know, it's funny you said Pat Maroon right there because I was just thinking about Jack Edwards last night. Do you see where they put him at mullet? He's like right in the crowd.
He's an absolute cartoon character, by the way.
Yeah,
I walked by him and I was like, I had my right cocked. I was like, I just do it for Patty?
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to go up to him yesterday and I swear to God, I was walking around the concourse about to do it.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, in mullet, the away team broadcast is like right in the crowd. Like they're right above it. I was going to walk up to him and put my middle finger in his face and take a picture like this because it would be hilarious. Like, imagine I tweeted out a picture of my middle finger right in Jack Edwards' face. But then I remembered I'm doing a little bit of work for the Coyotes. We're doing a little bit of work for the Coyotes. And I felt like they wouldn't appreciate that. And they'd probably take away our media access. So I didn't do it, but I really wanted to.
Yeah, looking at him is just hilarious. He's a lot smaller, like wax figure than I thought. I mean, I was looking at him like, this guy, I don't know if he looks like ill or what it is, but Jackie Edwards, funny guy.
Has me blocked.
I think he likes a nice bong rip. So shout out to Sativa and a little bit of indica, maybe a spliff, baby, if you're rolling one up and sparking one in. So I can neither confirm nor deny that. I'm not sure. But as we get a look here at Jacob Middleton and his duster, my God, that is a nice piece of lip luggage, as I would say. That's a hell of a duster Middleton rocks in sports. I think that thing might even have a little bug hair in there. My God, that thing. Who knows what's living in that thing? That is a hell of a duster from Middleton lip luggage, as I like to call it. He's carrying a lot of it. So, folks, I don't know what the hell's going on right now because, honestly, we haven't watched a ton of this period. Brock Faber might have sent that thing, airmailed it right over the glass. It doesn't look like it touched anything from the vantage points we're seeing, but the referee's right now talking it over to see, again, if the Dallas Stars will go on the man advantage here, Rob.
Yeah, I think it went out. And you know what? Minnesota, I don't know what the fuck. I know they have a couple injuries. 9 shots on goal almost through the second period. I mean, I feel bad. I'm going to say it again, dude. Let's just wait for this call.
It's longtime official Steve Kazari. Such a beauty.
Steve Kazari. What a name, too. Stevie Kazars. And you hate to see Faber go off. I mean, obviously, it's just a harmless mistake.
Yep. Yeah, it is what it is, right? You send it over the old plexiglass, and all of a sudden, you just go sit for 2 minutes and you feel shame because that's a lonely feeling over there, especially when you're not looking at a pair of fun bags behind your own bench. Anyways, folks, back to the game right now. We have a power play for the Dallas Stars in the dying minutes of the second frame. 2:37 and counting here. Shots right now, piss pumping. It's 23-9 in favor of the Dallas Stars. Folks, that is a lot of sogs to not a whole lot. Minnesota, honestly, from what I've watched, not a lot going on their end. They're playing a very underwhelming road game. Again, that first period, I think the only chance I really saw was Marcus Foligno right in front of the cage. He missed the bar by about 6 inches, but it's a game of inches. And you know what? In any given Sunday-like effort, you got to bring it every goddamn day, no matter if it's Sunday or Wednesday, Rob. And right now, the Minnesota Wild, they don't have much to show for.
Yeah, Swish, how do you feel about obviously the rule was intended to stop guys from flicking the puck out of bounds, but how do you feel about it now when a lot of the times it's an accident? It's sort of like knocking up a weather girl in Mexico on vacation. It's just an accident. These guys don't mean it. How do you feel about the rule in general?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you got her pregnant, right? Whether you get that Johnny abort or you stay with the mission, but I'm not here to comment on that. I just think as the game and as a player, you got to know to take care of the puck. And now Faber, he's trying to use the window, right? He's got the Windex out. He's got the 60-degree wedge out, and he's trying to play a little bit of a bank pass off the window, off the plexiglass. And now as a player, well, I got to hit my spot. Otherwise, it's a 2-minute penalty. So, again, I think it's an accident. It's a harmless play. But at the same time, it creates an awareness for players. And I honestly like the rule. I think it creates more power plays. I think as a defenseman, you got to – it's not a skill play, right? So if you're going to use that window, you got to know where to hit and where to hit your mark, because if you miss it, well, you're going to put your team on a disadvantage. So I just think in terms of the game, I like the rule. I like power plays, but I was always a power play guy, maybe not at the National Hockey League level. But if I could get a little cheap one and then get out there and massage it at the top of the key, hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, because I feel like you can't get rid of the rule because you just got to be responsible, like you said.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Right.
There's nothing.
Because there's a lot of defensemen that they come around the net and they're looking for a bailout play because there's an F1 coming right on their trapezoid. They're going to bury him into the fourth row, and the only play they have is either a rim around the wall or it's a shot off the window and out. And if you want to use that route, one or the other, well, if you airmail it, well, I think there should be a penalty because you were under duress and you were hurried to make a play, right? So I think it's a good rule.
Yeah, I mean, if you give the puck a good Hollywood rim job up the wall, though, I mean, it could easily get blocked, quick turnover, quick transition. Yep. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Right.
I mean, you got to stop guys from going up.
Because like that face.
Whoa.
Oh, we're going to 4-on-4 here. 5-on-3. What do we got? Middleton.
He just
hot and bothered.
Dumped him like a fucking prom night girlfriend.
Put him on his wallet. My God. Left him outside the Mustang and said, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Sagan, how you doing? That was a nice little CFB in terms of a cross check from behind. And
that's karma.
That is karma.
That's karma for knocking a bottle out of my hand in a nightclub. Shout out Tyler Sagan, not a friend of the show.
Yeah, and a nice little play like Middleton shoving him on his chin, and no call, obviously, right, because you're in the dying minutes and your team's down 3 cops. You can get away with a little more, but, yeah, I don't know. I just think Minnesota right now, like, come on, boys, give us a little bit of life. I know you're back to 5-on-5 here, but there's not going to be a whole lot going on to finish this game or this period, but let's get something going maybe in the third period, and we'll probably be a little bit more dialed in terms of pulse and a kind of a something to gauge this game. But right now, we were just tied up with that interview with Binner.
Yep. Keep the questions coming, folks. We're 10, 9, 8. I'm going to go clear some cap space in the bathroom in just a second as Zuccarello gets the puck to the Honda sign in the corner. And Minnesota will wrap up the period with 9 shots on goal. Dallas with 25 shots on goal. We have a 3-0 game, Swish. Like you said, we're going to get dialed back into the gameplay in the third period. We'll take your questions right now. I'm going to go empty the inchworm. I'll be right back.
Folks, Bob Gucci heading to the pisser, staying light, staying tight. Folks, if you're pissing clear, you're hydrated. And I always said before a game, if I'm pissing clear, the other team's fucked because a hydrated Swish, no matter at the bar or on the ice, is a dangerous man. So, folks, we're going to get at your questions. Again, start firing these questions. We got 225 people live on here, so please get at us in the chat. Ask us anything. Where are you tapping in from? This is the second period intermission brought to you by Butter Golf and Heat Daddy merch. So, folks, where are we watching from tonight? We'll get at your questions. I'm going to scroll up here on the chin and see what we got here. Alrighty. Swish, I bought a Butter Golf shirt. It fucks. Thanks, fella. That is unbelievable. We appreciate you over here at Butter Golf. Thank you, fella. Keep rocking. Stay clean. Stay focused, baby. And above all, stay sexy with that butter. Smoothie King, baby. Woo! This question here from Tommy Colo, Double Deuce, fella, 93-1 Swish here. When are the 25 more NYC tickets dropping? Fella, those tickets tomorrow will be dropping, I would believe, sometime around the 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Hour. Now, don't quote me on that because we got to come up with a hard date and time, but it sounded like the talks when we talked to the fire department today, New York City PD, as well as the owner of the Canuck, it sounded like those tickets would be online tomorrow and available sometime midday, and then we'll have an official announcement, and that's going to be a rat race for you people to pick them up. But again, we're trying to cram that many people as we can in there. Just cram that bitch. It's like a shoebox in there. It's a smaller venue. It's about 150 people. I think we had 125 RSVP in like 30 minutes. So we asked the fire department. We asked a couple, policemen, boots on the ground there. Hey, can we extend the audience? We got a lot of people coming out to see the boys for Hockey Night in Scottsdale. And they obliged. So we're going to try to open that up tomorrow. Again, those will be tweeted out by myself and Bobby Gooch on the Heat Daddy account. So look for those, folks. Keep your eyes Tim peeled, as I would say. This goes from JBone2320. Fella, Swish here. How we doing? I would let Swish raw dog my sister with one stipulation, that he wears his batting gloves while he does it. Well, if you're not going to wrap up your wrench, you might as well wrap up your hands. I like that. And fella,
Make sure she's of age.
If she's of age and she is not a minor, or maybe she's a minor in consent, well, come get me. I can talk after the show. I will put my Franklins on. And if she's above a 3, now I know you're her brother, but if she's above a 3, hey, maybe we got a date, baby.
Yeah, maybe she just likes to listen to the band Fort Minor. That's okay, but as long as she's not a minor.
Okay, Bobby, what else we got?
All right, we have Corey Perry to the any bet you're running tonight? Oh, that actually, Swish, we have to make a prize picks bet.
Let's get our
I'm
prize
so
pick.
glad you brought that up.
Yep, let's get our prize pick app out right now, folks. Low and slow over here. Are we doing an NFL bet? You wanted to say that, right?
Yep, I think we're going to go with NFL. We're going to have the people help us. So I'm going to share my screen right now, and then we're going to have people help us pick a quick bet for this weekend. Just spam out what you like, and we will listen. We're going to make an NFL bet, entry, live on the show.
Yep, let's get at us here. Folks, help us out with this NFL bet. Obviously, it's wild card weekend. We have games Saturday, Sunday, and one Monday. I believe that's that Tampa Bay game. So what do we like in terms of bets? I'm looking at the big board right now. Obviously, I want to ride with my Packers. That is a game featured in Dallas. I believe they are -7.5. That's Dallas. So Green Bay would be +7 and a hook. Rob, I don't know what you're looking at. I kind of like that Steelers bet too. They're getting a lot of points, but again, let's leave it up to the people. This is the People's Broadcast, Hockey Night in Scottsdale, live from the couch here in North Scottsdale, in between periods, mind you.
All right, somebody said James Cook over rushing yards.
Cookie fellow.
I don't even know where.
James,
right here.
James Cook over rushing yards.
Let's look that. You could just search it too, which I actually
63 and a hook. That is Buffalo at Pittsburgh. That is a Sunday matinee.
Ooh.
63 yards. I mean, so he's got to run for 64 because it's 63 and a hook. I mean, that is foreign territory to me, honestly, with Cookie. I don't watch them a ton, so we'd be relying on the people, which I do not mind. But last time we did that, Jack Hughes, under 18 minutes or whatever it was, he played 22.
Let's do, that was really tough. Let's do Stroud. He's a stud.
Okay.
Let's do CJ Stroud over pass yards. And let's do one more leg. Let's just keep it simple.
CJ Stroud over?
Yeah. Okay. Let's do the Goblin, too. That means it's like super boosted.
Okay.
All right, so we're doing James Cook, more than 63.5 rushing yards. We're doing CJ Stroud, more than 275.
What's a goon to a Goblin? 274.5?
Yep, okay. That's it. And then we're going to do one more. If anyone has any, Josh Allen, anytime rush.
I kind of like Jordan.
Touchdown.
Jordan Love over 2.5 passing touchdowns on the road. I mean, I don't want to bet against my guy, but that seems like it's pretty steep. Now, that's a Goblin pick, but 1.5 is the real line there for Jordan Love. I don't know, man. Dallas is pretty
good. Dude.
That's 2.
What do you think? I'll go with whatever you want because that's your squad.
Can we do over 2 if we're taking
We can do pass TDs over 1.5.
Yeah, I like
Let's
that.
do that.
Yeah, so he's got to throw for 2.
Okay, and then the last one's going to be somebody said Josh Allen touchdown.
Shaky Allen.
But a rush touchdown. So we're going to go Allen. I didn't even know you could do this. You could actually see in the corner.
Joshy Allen. So what do you
rush? And I like that.
So where's that bet?
Type in on the search bar. Yeah. Oh, right here. Rush plus TD. We're gonna go over.
Okay.
Or more. Sorry.
Okay. So I'm finalizing this. Pays up to 5 times.
Holy shit! I'm gonna do it on my phone right now.
3 players selected. CJ Stroud with the Goblin bet over 274.5. That is passing yards, folks. Jordan Love over 1.5 passing touchdowns, and Josh Allen, okay, more than 0.5. What is that bet? I typed that in wrong. That is Josh Allen.
More than 0.5 rush and receiving.
Okay, I got that right there. So that pays up to 7.5. Okay, gotcha there.
Let's do 50. That's what I'm gonna do. 50.
I'm doing $50 all in to win 375. I am placing this entry that is confirmed per Elliot Friedman, Frankie Meatballs, and Darren Drager all at once, but more importantly, the People's Insider over here at Hockey Night in Scottsdale. Bobby, we locking it in?
Yep, we're locking that in live. I'm not going to do it on my desktop. I'm going to do it on my phone. But yeah, that's officially locked in. And I just wanted to answer a question. No, what you're texting any rockets there, Heat Dad? When I'm on my phone on the stream, I'm on completely silent for everything. I'm either getting streams, either tweeting links. I'm retweeting the link.
Yep.
It's
water
I'm on Prize Picks. Well, I'm simply just re-upping my Twitter feed or refreshing my Twitter feed. I'm really not talking to any girls. And even if I was off the stream, I wouldn't talk to any chicks because chicks don't talk to me. Where is the after party for the post game in New York City? I don't know if Swish touched on this, but we're going back to Canuck. We're going to the Canuck 4:30 to 6:30 before the Rangers game. We're going to do a live show. We're going to the Ranger game. We're going back to the Canuck. You have to buy tickets though for the after party. It's going to be $20, but Switch and I made sure you get a free drink with that. So basically, I mean, it's New York City. A drink's worth like fucking $40. So basically, this is a flawless investment.
We're talking missionary, Rob. We're talking free drinks. We're talking $20. I mean, isn't a drink in New York City like $20 as is? Especially if you get a nice vodka soda with a splash of cran. How are ya?
Yeah. So, do you think Stamkos re-signs in Tampa?
I think that is a spot that Julian Brisebois is trying to maneuver right now. Now, Steven Stamkos obviously wants to stay in Balboa Island, right next to Tampa Bay, where he lives. I mean, I think the guy lives on the goddamn island. So, yes, in terms of now, what is Steven Stamkos willing to take or maybe chew on, and what can they finesse in terms of fitting it under the cap? Is he going to get paid $8.5 what he's making now? Probably not. But if there's a way that they can keep this player, maybe stretch it out on an 8-year deal, maybe front load it with a little bit of signing bonus to get him all of his money in the earlier years. I don't know. You can get creative with these things, especially if you stretch it out. I would love to see Stammer stay in Tampa Bay. Time will tell. In Brisebois, the capologist he is, Rob, I think he's going to find a way to kind of massage this thing and get creative to keep the captain there because he is playing some of his best hockey as a 33, 34-year-old veteran and a guy that's been healthy for a few years now.
Guys, I just want to mention, I forgot to say on Prize Picks, you will get a free $100 if you use the code HeatDaddy. Well, they'll match it up to $100. I just wanted to mention that so I don't get yelled at. When you drop it to the tickets, okay. So for the free entry to the show, there will be an RSVP link tomorrow. Now, for the after party, that will probably be Friday or Saturday, and I will give you like a 10-hour notice. I'm going to tweet out, hey, to come to the after party at the Canuck to buy tickets. I'm going to tweet the link later tonight. I'm not just going to put it out there. So, because I didn't think the first batch of tickets for the RSVPs would sell out, and they sold out in like 35 minutes. So we'll let you know. You'll see it on my feed.
Boots on the ground, baby.
Where's the after party in Calgary? We're going to go back to Cowboys, fellas. We're going to go back to Cowboys. We're going to be grinding on chicks. We're going to be grinding on dudes. We're going to be grinding on anything that fucking moves. You see, you ever see that video with the Jagerbomb guy? He goes, I'm going to grind on every piece of pussy that walks through that door. Yeah. I'm gonna fucking grind so hard my fucking dick falls off. My boys, they got the same haircut.
What was that? My new haircut, right?
Yeah. Oh, my fucking protein, Mom. Jagerbombs. It's going to be Jagerbombs all fucking night.
I'm going to grind on every piece of pussy. Yeah, Ricky, grind on me. We're talking missionary, like I always say. We're talking 2 chicks at once. We're talking about running the old switcheroo. Hey, I got to throw you to the side because this girl's coming in, and I got to be juking and jiving, baby.
I'm going to try to get my butthole fingered in Cowboys, and if somebody takes a picture of it, I'm going to tweet it out. I don't even care anymore. That's just show business, baby.
Oh, my God. Cane's Chicken. It's finger licking good.
Shout out to Cane's Chicken. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, I didn't have Cane for a long time. My buddy used to muck. It was like Hall of Fame level of eating. I'm not going to say chestnut, but he used to muck a Caniac combo, which is 6 chickens. He used to replace the coleslaw with toast, get 2 toasts.
Double toast?
Double toast.
Double Texas toast?
Double toast.
Oh, my God.
And then he used to put one of the chicken strips and fries in between the double toast with the cane sauce.
And you just hammer it.
Dude, it was diabolical. He would bury farts in the couch cushions. Like, there was a hole in one of the couch cushions from his Cane's farts.
Just straight 87 unleaded gas. Shout out to Cane's Chicken, but I do live under one rule. If I go to Cane's Chicken, I have to get the Caniac combo, and I have to bury it. Otherwise, I can't go back the next time.
Yeah.
It's 6 tenders. It's Texas toast. It's coleslaw. You get the sweet tea with it, and all of a sudden, you're almost in damn near cardiac arrest.
Yeah, I got it for the first time in a long time 2 weeks ago, and right after that, I went on a 42-hour water fast. I guess what? It was easy. That's the secret to water fasting. Yeah. People are like, oh, it's so hard. I'm so hungry. No. Eat a Cane's Caniac combo before your water fast, and you'll never get cancer.
You literally are not hungry, like you said, for probably 3 days after you take down a caniac combo. It's actually truly remarkable how shitty you feel after you eat that. It's, oh my God.
We have Neeks coming in hot with the N-word butt swish. I did confirm he is able to say that due to his skin color. And even if he wasn't, that's not my kid. That's not my problem. At this point, make Tortellini the Flyers head coach permanently. This N-word Farabee has 20 minutes on ice after being benched. Shout out to Joel Farabee, friend of the show. Great guy.
Furby, yeah, for sure.
Shout out to Neeks. We have a bunch of shout outs going on here.
Shout out to Neeks, fella.
Shout out to Neeks. And who's to say if anybody says that we are not a hockey is for everybody show as Kel McCarr walks in red-faced like an MLB manager. But I think it's just because he's cold. So
yeah, he had the rosy cheeks going on there. I'm not sure if he's drinking whiskey before the game, if he's just walking out of his car in Mile High City. I know those guys at the park outside, those poor bastards at the ball center there in Denver. So Cale McCarr, my number one consensus player of the league, number one overall. He's been unbelievable this year. As Paul Bissonnette, we get a look at him. Friend of the show is 2 buttons down tonight on TNT. So low and slow over there, fella. Oh my God, that might be a nipple show later. So,
Rob, do you have any dentists in Arizona? I actually don't. Believe it or not, I know I have flawless jibs and I don't have a speech impediment, but I actually really need to go to the dentist. My mom keeps asking me to go. She says my root canals are probably all fucked up, and it's really going to be detrimental to my health in the future. But I'm too busy partying with Hispanic women and men.
Oh, side of guacamole, a little hot sauce, and you're rubbing your cheeks all over their buns, baby.
And we have confirmation that Neeks, he's saying he's not black, but he's an olive-skinned sand. I'm afraid to say the J word there. Or maybe he is black.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We're going to go to our black correspondent, Neeks, and see.
Yep, we will stay out of that lane, that Tory lanes, and just kind of go over that low and slow like a cold plunge. Long and slow into the cold plunge life. Bobby Gooch, I'm not going to lie to you. I had a cold plunge right before this, and I came on the show, and I was shivering me timbers. The nipples were hard. Cock was ready to go. Yeah,
I really can't stop cold plunging switch. I talked about it on Wet Jeans that actually just came out on YouTube today. Check that out. Cold plunging is actually amazing. I'm not going to get on Instagram and rant and rave about it because I'm not a word that rhymes with maggot, but I do like it. I do think that the benefits are pretty awesome.
Right. You're not the word that rhymes with Brett May, you know?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, no, listen, get in there. Get your feet wet, baby.
And here at Hockey Night in Scottsdale, you never know what you're going to talk about. Somebody said my wife won't talk to me after I shit on her by accident. I believe Cleveland steamed is an act in the bedroom. Now, listen, Swish, I'm not here to kink shame. If you're going to shit on your wife's chest, I'm not going to tell you how to treat your wife.
Right.
But it just sounds like maybe it wasn't consensual. I want to talk to her about that if I were you.
I'm not sure how you shit on anyone on accident, but again, I guess you never trust a fart on bender. I'm a firm believer. If you're on a 2 or 3 day bender,
you got to read that.
You never can trust a fart on bender. Folks, there's a lesson for the wise out there. If you're on a 2 or 3 day bender, never trust a fart because that thing, you try it, you maybe attempt it, and it, goddamn it shoots right down your leg with explosive diarrhea. So if you're on a bender, which I consider drinking more than 2, probably 3 days in a row, it's a tale's old as time. And Swishy's probably rule number 48 in this handbook of one-liners. Never trust a fart on bender, folks. You heard it here first.
Is your mom disappointed in you? Actually, she currently is because she just texted me and said, Rob, why are you and Jay Swish doing this boring-ass Minnesota Wild game? This is not the son I wanted to raise. I wanted to raise my son to watch entertaining hockey, not this boring shit. But anyway.
Yeah, anyways, back to the game. What do we got? We got a decent amount of people in here in the chat. Folks, thanks again for tapping in. We are about to get to the third period, our final frame of the evening featuring the home team, the Dallas Stars, and the visiting Minnesota Wild. Right now, 3-0, the home team. Been a little bit of a slow game. Hey, you never know. Things are kind of boring. They're kind of just coasting along in the first 40 minutes, and all of a sudden, boom, maybe Patty Maroon puts someone on the fucking wallet. He starts shedding the laundry. Maybe he scores a goal. Who knows? I know a guy like that could wake up the boys, so we'll see what happens. We have 20 minutes, and anything can happen, like we always say. 3 goals, Rob, is the worst lead in hockey over at Scottsdale.
Chat is really frisky tonight. There's a lot of ass fingering going on. There's a lot of shitting my wife going on. There's a lot of balls deep in a fryer going on. It
balls
seems
deep
like
in a deep fryer? Jesus Christ.
The 2024 crowd is just kinkier than ever. Thoughts on the Jew tunnels? I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology for what's going on there in New York, Swish. I believe there's some trafficking of some sort going on. who's to say? I'm not really
Jiminy
sure.
Christmas, this is getting into the thick of things over here. Folks, come on, baby.
The Stars are too good, Heat Daddy. I don't know. I don't really watch them. The Stars, Philly Montreal is tied at 2 heading into the last 5 of a tilt. I mean, should we flip that on? I think
Yeah, we'll take a few more questions.
Yeah, we'll take a few more questions.
Stay in our game, low and slow over here.
Keep them coming, folks. We have Jimmy Ratlegs getting a compliment in the chat here.
Jimmy Ratford, a big-time friend of the show over here at Hockey Night in Scottsdale. Good to see a fella, low and slow as always. Keep it safe, keep it sexy, and above all, keep it smooth, baby.
We have Flick the Bean going on. I'm not sure what's going on in the chat here, guys. I'm not going to lie. This is not your best effort, but hey, we're not perfect. Not every song on the album's a banger switch.
Nope. You have a couple skits. You have a couple ones that are just a little underwhelming. But again, folks, before we get to the third period, the final frame live from the American Airlines Center as they get an overhead view of the American Airlines Center in downtown Dallas. Please get at us in the chat. Load the questions up. We have talked about flicking the bean. We've been talking about shitting on chest. Maybe a little bit of hockey talk as we get into the third period. I know it's not the most exciting game over here in Dallas tonight, but again, we are trying to bring you the best coverage in all of hockey. Bob Gucci, Jay Swish, brought to you always by Heat Daddy Merch and Butter Golf. Folks, we're going to the final 20 minutes. Minnesota down 3 Cobb. As we always say over here at Hockey Night in Scottsdale, the worst lead in hockey is 2 and sometimes 3. So despite these awful jerseys from Dallas, they have played pretty well tonight. They've controlled basically the entire match to this point, Rob. And honestly, I look at them probably sitting back a little bit and kind of just letting this Wednesday sleeper run out of time. Now, if Minnesota, on the other hand, can turn it around and turn the tide, maybe it'll wake it up in this game and pace will get going. But it's been a little slow right now.
I didn't want to cut you off there, but it appears we have Clayton Keller live in the chat. I'm not sure if that's the real Clayton Keller or not, because Twitter does not tell me if it's real.
That is him for sure.
Is Barrett Hayton sponsored by Normatec? Clayton Keller, come on the show. We're begging you. Really, we're going to stop doing this.
I once saw Barrett Hayton, the kid that was my roommate, Rob, in Tucson during the COVID year, a.k.a. the Gummy Bear. So this kid's hurt right now. He'll be back in the lineup, I think, in the next 2 or 3 weeks is what I'm hearing per sources, maybe in and around the All-Star break, maybe a little bit after. But this kid, I mean, I swear to God, I think he would be at the bar in Tucson at General Ben's and he had the Normatex on. And he was always massaging his leg. Not only was he massaging the pill like a piece of Wagyu, he'd always have the Normatex on. This guy loved to recover. So a young lad that really takes care of himself in all seriousness. We hope he's back. He's a first-line center for the Arizona Coyotes, the Desert Dogs. But yes, if Barrett Hayton has not got a Normatec deal yet, I can work on getting him one. I'm working on a new contract for Spicy Tuna O'Brien. So, boys, only take 2.5%. So, Swishy over here, the People's Insider, Gummy Bear fella, keep those Normatecs on no matter if you're at the bar or you're at home, whatever the hell you're doing, baby.
Looks like we have a girl in the chat. Speaking of, Barrett Hayton's hand, it just reminded me, just a brutal injury. You get a puck in the hand. You can't even do anything. You can't dart your girl's mitt. It's just a brutal situation.
Was it left or right?
It's just I'm not sure. But that's why you make sure you're ambidextrous.
You got to be able to throw both.
Yeah, when it comes to tugging on your horn, so you want to be ambidextrous just in case you block a shot. I can't even fucking talk.
I mean, imagine you had that in your Twitter bio. Good chin, fucks hard, can tug both.
Yeah, you never know.
You go left and right.
You never know when you might need it. I stumbled on my words there because I'm nervous that a girl is in the chat. Bella says, should the Oilers drop Brown and take Corey Perry?
Well, UPS, what can Brown do for you? He has not exactly lived up to standards. Now, that guy is making a decent hook. He's got a 3.2 AAV deal, and a lot of it is performance-based in terms of games played. So I don't know what you do with that contract. He's coming off a big-time knee injury, trying to find the screws, and just hasn't worked out. But I think if he can kind of get over the hump, lady humps by the Black Eyed Peas, Rob, I think he could be a productive player come playoff time for the Edmonton Oilers. But again, I would look at adding Corey Perry. Why not? I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? He's going to bang someone in the front office and you got to get rid of him again? I mean, come on.
What is wrong with tucking a lady in the front office consensually? There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that's what happens, Swish, but sometimes people like to bump stumps. People like to do jujitsu after midnight. People like to play Twister naked, Swish.
Sometimes your wrench just ends up in the wrong hole. Sometimes alcohol's involved. We all make mistakes. We're not perfect over here. Hey, baby, come on. Let's get a little glory hole game going. Let's get Corey Perry back in the league. I think he did a little stint somewhere. He's working on his game mentally.
He's working on his wrench.
In all seriousness, we wish the best for him. Hope he's okay and back playing because that is a guy that could not only add to a playoff team, but he's a legit difference maker in the bottom 6 as an older veteran that's played a lot of hockey.
Yep, and the third period started. I keep forgetting because I have absolutely zero interest in this game. It's like meeting your girlfriend's parents. I just have no interest, Swish. I don't want to be here. I want to be with my boys, farting and eating brick oven pizza.
Yeah, like why are we eating a chicken pot pie, and why does your mom keep looking at me and looking like she's judging me? So, folks, a no judgment or a judgment-free zone over here at Hockey Night Scottsdale right now. The shots 25-10, and we get a look at Scott Wedgwood, who hasn't had a whole lot of work tonight. He might be working on those hips tonight with his lady because he's probably not that tired. Probably won't need a cold tub after this affair unless things really get going, but I don't anticipate that happening because the Wild looked like they might have taken an Ambien before this game. Folks, again, we'll get back to the game here for a little bit. 16:32 if you're following along here on TNT. More importantly, from the boys live from the couch in Hockey Night in Scottsdale. And I didn't even notice. I was so stupid. I said Ryan Hartman wasn't playing tonight. He is playing tonight. So that goes to show you how much we're watching this game right now, Rob. Just not a whole lot going on in terms of a franchise with the Minnesota Wild that ultimately got their team stolen from them by the Ladder here in Dallas. Gets the team back, and hey, we got a little bit of a Central Division affair over here. Not a whole lot going on. Hopefully the Wild can get some sort of steam going, but right now, baby, it ain't perfect.
Yeah, definitely. You know what, Swift? I was just thinking maybe we shoot Normatech an email and we wear Normatech on the air for the duration of the show. I think that would be a great sponsorship. I mean, why not? I think we would potentially quadruple their sales in the second quarter here in 2024. I think it's a no-brainer for them.
Couple guys that really take care of their body and not only their legs, right? Staying light, making sure you're ready for the dance floor on the weekend. And hey, really taking care of our bodies in terms of having a couple Irish coffees on a Tuesday at 4 p.m. So Normatech, if you're listening, I know you're not, but maybe we will get in partnership, get in contact with you. We'll cold call you, baby, like an ex-girlfriend looking for her sheet. So folks, again, right now, looking at the clock, 15:51 remaining here in the third period as Matt Boldy massages the puck in the high ice, and that is sent almost out of play in the high glass as we have a little bit of a tie-up in the corner sent up to Brock Faber, who walks the line like a young Johnny Cash. And puck's on net, low to high. Faber gets it through traffic. We have a 3-1 game. I'm not sure if that's going to ignite the Minnesota Wild, but we will see. Looks like Matt Boldy might have got a stick on that, but a great shot by Faber, who's been playing about 30-odd minutes a night, Rob. Again, gets the puck low to high as they showed again. Eriksson wins a wall battle just below the goal line, sends it low to high. Faber, 3 steps in, off the wall, and just a little sifter. And Boldy, I don't know if that hit his back or a stick or whoever it hit, but head up the whole way from Faber. A great shot from the heady defenseman. And yeah, it looks like it grabbed Boldy's jersey right around his fight strap in the back of his jersey below the numbers. So, hey, anything can happen. I don't know if that's a goal that really ignites your team. It's kind of a little bit of a mush burger, but you never know. Worst lead in hockey is 3, and sometimes 2, and sometimes 4. So right now, Rob, we got 3-1. We got a little bit of a game, I guess. We'll see what we can get going from the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, I really needed that. I got the over of 5.5. I took it halfway through the first period because I wanted the lower line. So, yeah, I like that. I thought this was a funny comment from Raymond. I paid $10 for a ticket in Calgary. If there's any girls there, I'm going to be pissed. Folks, we forgot to tell you, we're absolutely not allowing girls into the Calgary show. This is just a wrench fest. So if you are a girl and you purchase a ticket, please email Cowboys and ask for a refund. This is strictly a wrench fest, and we apologize for the inconvenience. Back to the game as...
Yep. Head over to Home Depot, your local Menards. Save big money at Menards. Grab a set of wrenches. Bring them over to Calgary, and that'll be basically all we have. It's all dudes in here and a couple bottom service girls that no one will talk to with some silicone. But, folks, again, they're showing a nice little look at that Faber play. Again, what a play by Joel Eriksson below the goal line. Rob, he invited the traffic into him in terms of getting a defenseman on his back. He gives him a little bit of a reverse hit, creates about 2 to 3 feet of space, ultimately sends it low to high up to Faber. Faber walks the line, 3 steps in. Get inside that dot and get it over to the front of the net, through the bodies, through the traffic. And again, a little bit of a fortuitous bounce in terms of off of Boldy's back. But, hey, they get a goal, and I guess you never know. When you got Scott Wedgwood in net, maybe he's shaking a little bit. He was probably thinking he's going to have a shutout. Next thing you know, okay, only 13 shots on net, and we got something to show for.
If I'm Minnesota, I'm seriously considering pulling the goalie. I mean, why the hell not at this point? I mean, just make a statement, right? Just everything's bigger in Texas. Go big, go home. Maybe pull the goalie with 14 minutes to go because I have the over.
I don't mind that. I think in all seriousness, I think you look at pulling your goalie at around 5, 6, 7 minutes. I mean, why not? If you're Minnesota at this point, you haven't really done a whole lot, and it just doesn't really seem like. I mean, it just seems like a game that, if I'm being honest, has been pretty fucking boring at this point. I'm trying to be positive with it. I'm having a hard time staying with it because I love the people, and you know what I mean. It's just we're trying to bring you the most entertaining coverage, but these guys have not really given us any besides that snipe from Pavelski, kind of walking down Broadway and Main Street, going far side cheddar where it's always better. That is basically all the excitement we've had tonight. Obviously, thanks for Jordan Binnington for coming on, giving the boys a little bit of a touch. We chopped it up with him for about 30 minutes. So, folks, if you're just tuning in and you missed that interview after the game, you can check that out. Obviously tweeted out by the Heat Daddy, retweeted by myself. We had Stanley Cup champion, goaltender of the St. Louis Blues, Jordan Binnington came on the show, chopped up the fellas. We probably had him on for 20 minutes, Rob.
Yeah, that was a good amount of time. And, we kind of got spoiled with the last game we did because it was so good. But shout out to the chat for keeping us going. We're going to hit a commercial break real quick. So fire up that chat again. We will read anything and anything unless it's a racial slur or anything like that. But
right.
We appreciate the chat a lot. I mean, you guys make this really fun.
Dutch's guitar.
Oh, my God. Holy guitar.
That was so
Dutch
sick.
oven. Oh,
Dutch oven with an absolute – he just went 1-on-4 with this guitar on his back. My God, he was walking in Memphis with that thing, baby. Holy shit.
Good tip. 55 remaining.
Yeah, I don't – and the other thing is, like, Minnesota, they have a decent amount of bodies banged up right now, so I don't know a ton of their players in their bottom six in terms of these guys playing right now. So that's another thing that I'm kind of – normally I have a good idea of the roster besides the goalies as Pavelski sends an absolute blueberry muffin on net. And, folks, that'll bring us to our first commercial break of the third period. Bobby Gooch, Jay Swish, as we get another look at that Boldy goal right off his back. Minnesota trailing the Dallas Stars 3-1, 12:41 remaining in the third period. Bob, what do we got in the chat? What are people saying? Are we talking about beans and shitting on chest, or do we have some credibility going in the chat right now?
Yeah, we have a couple of people hitting on Bella in the chat. If Bella's still here, we'd love to have you on the show, actually, Bella. If you want to get invited on the show, why not? Are the Leafs nasty? Huge fan, but they've made me mentally unwell over the years.
Zach Willis, I'm going to say they are a tale as old as time and kind of just cut from the same fabric they have been for the last 3, 4, 5 years. They have really good forwards. They're top heavy and very invested in 4 or 5 players. Again, those guys are unbelievable. I love Matthews. Shout out to Scottsdale, Arizona. Marner, decent player. Doesn't really show up in the playoffs. Willie Stiles. I mean, there's no one sicker off the sheet with him.
Yeah.
Morgan Riley. But, again, top heavy. Defense is a question. Do they have the goaltending? I would say no to both those questions. So I think they need to find some sandpaper in their back end, guys that are really heavy but also can play a very north game in terms of moving the puck. And then goaltending. It's going to come down to, can Joseph Wall, when he gets healthy, be that guy? These are question marks. I don't know if that leads you to the cup. But if AMAT's 34, Kentucky up 1 or 2 goals a game, anything can happen, baby.
Yep, I completely agree. And Bella said she would come on the stream. We might have to save it for next week. I'm not sure yet. I don't want everyone getting too horny in this chat.
Do we know Bella?
Kings are I don't know who she is. It's just a chick. I said, come on the stream. I had a question for her, to be honest with you, about this chat, because people are relentlessly – that's what happens when you're around a bunch of dudes. They're just going to relentlessly hit on you because, well, we're fucking stupid and we like box. Rob, Cowboys told me I might have – I'll check on that for you.
Yeah, that's per Frank. We'll look at that.
Kings are slipping. What's going on, boys? Yeah, Swift. What do you think here?
I just think every team goes through lulls. It's a long season. It's a journey in itself. There's 82 games. You're going to hit these little ruts where the season doesn't go perfect. I mean, you can't barely – I mean, how many teams can play like the Boston Bruins last year? And look how it ended up for them with a first-round exit. I mean, they set the National Hockey League record for most wins, points, all that jazz, and then they lose to Florida in the first round. So the Kings are going through it a little bit right now. They'll be okay. They'll get back to their game. As long as you can find your game right around April while staying in the playoff hunt, the Kareem hunt, the Damian hunt,
nice.
As long as you're there, you're okay. So the Kings will be all right. I assume they'll win the Pacific. If not, finish second. They'll be fine, and they will end up playing Vegas or Edmonton in the later rounds of Western Conference Finals. So I like their team. They could maybe add a goalie. Phoenix Copley is now hurt. Yes, they are riding Cam Talbot. Is he the answer? Well, I don't know. I don't know if he's the Abraham answer, but we'll see. Oh, my God.
Oh, my Berta. Jason Robertson. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, he gets that one taken away from him, and what does he say? He gives it the old Rasheed Wallace line, the ball don't lie. The ball didn't lie there when he tucks home. Probably the game icing goal. This thing looked like it was in slow motion, Rob. I mean, a little rim job out the zone. Faber kind of in off his skis, bad gap, settles it in on a 2-on-1. And
just too easy.
He's not going to miss from there. I mean, that guy goes home and he just plays RuneScape or he plays Call of Duty, whatever he does. Like gets inside the dots. He's not missing from there. I mean, that's like him playing Call of Duty or Fortnite. Like he's going to hit the target. I'm not a gamer, so I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. This guy, he goes home, he puts on the headsets, probably tugs one off, and plays a little RuneScape. So that was as easy as it gets for a guy with a lethal shot.
Is Nick Cousins the biggest scumbag in National League history?
Scumbag. I mean, he's beloved by his teammates the way he plays that rat style, but at some point I think you got to answer the bell, right? It's just you got to answer the Liberty bell. You got to do something where if you're going to continually staple guys' necks against the boards and not back it up, I think that's a little bush league. But again, I would like to have that guy on my team because he is a rat. He gets other players engaged off their game. I mean, he just made Zucker take a 3-game suspension.
Yeah, that is true. I saw Zucker actually walking into the rink. I was like, what the hell is this guy hurt? And then I forgot he stapled Nick Cousins' head like a homework packet. But yeah, I can see why fans are going to get pissed off about the situation when it comes to Nick.
Yeah, I mean, he's just one of those guys that plays a rat style. I just don't like when he just turtles. When something happens, like answer the bell a little bit. Like for Zucker, he knows a guy's coming at him. Like most guys, if you did a play like that where you just absolutely tag Valimaki's chin with a defenseless player, most guys would be like, okay, like I'll turn around and I'm ready to shit. He had his back face against the glass, and Zucker comes up, and then he kind of dives like he's dead. So. Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was just kind of bush league, but again, we're just two assholes sitting on the couch. So, what are we really supposed to say?
Yeah. So, I didn't even realize. Is there airplanes on the red line? Did anyone notice that? I didn't notice that they have airplanes. That's a nice little detail there in Dallas. 4-1.
Yeah, American Airlines Center, right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
there you go.
Yep, that's a good touch to that.
Touch McGraw.
Is Valimaki still out from that? By the way.
Valimaki, no, he didn't get hurt from that, but he had broken his jaw earlier in the year in a game in Dallas, so he's got that bubble on. And then Cousins comes over while he's on his knees and tags his chin. It's like that was a really dangerous play and a very sneaky, dirty play for a defenseless player. It's like, bro, you can't be doing that and then not expect to get hit. I love Zucker's response, so it's like, fuck you, man. We're the Desert Dogs. We're a team. I got to get a little criminal too. You just fucked up my guy. Well, shit. We're a team here. So I really like that response from Zucker. Just sucks that it cost him about $80K. Oh, my God. How's that going?
Yeah, sorry to cut you off there.
No, I was done with my bit, but, oh, my God, low muffin. I mean, muffins count. I guess it was a decent shot. It was a nice play by Radek Foska to drive the defense down, and they ultimately found the late D, the second wave, as I like to call it, and found that Nicky Lindquist kid who we were talking about earlier in the show, and a guy that I kind of chirped. Well, it's a nice play by Foska, though. Stick through body, through traffic. It was a great shot. He used Merrill as a screen. Look at this play, though, on Freddie Gaudreau. How's your mother over there? Oh, that was a nice shot. It was a seeing eye shot. Take it back. My bad. That was a great shot through Merrill's legs. It's low blocker. There's traffic. There's a lot of shit going on. So great shot there. But that play all starts with Foska right at the blue line. A little outside in, dipsy-do, dunkaroo, as Dickie V would say. A nice little play. So, I mean,
Minnesota sucks.
Did the over hit?
I took the over. I took it. It was 6.5, but I waited.
They do suck.
They suck.
This is so boring.
The Wild suck. Dude, I keep getting distracted. Like, I've never been on my phone this much. I'm just mostly refreshing this. But I caught myself twice, like, instinctively clicking on Instagram. And I was like, wait, I'm in the middle of a show. That's how bad this game is.
Well, and you expect a little bit of a letdown because last game we did was a World Junior game. It was probably the game of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was electric. So you expect a little bit of just a kind of a letdown. But you don't think that it's going to be this boring or this piss poor of an effort. I don't mind bad games. But Minnesota doesn't even look like they fucking tried.
They don't want to be in Dallas.
No, they don't want to be there. No, it's like we went to Dallas and we just put our shit on and went on the ice. Like, if I'm Billy Garrett, if I'm John Hines tonight, like,
you got to go full criminal.
Well, I'm just saying, like, boys, like, what are we doing here? Like, do we just show up and just think we're gonna win and walk out of here with 2 points against a very good Dallas team wearing their neon jerseys? Like, come on. Like, there's been no bite. There's been no pushback. It's been a very, I hate to say it, vanilla effort. And I'm being critical of this team right now. But that's what I'm seeing when I'm watching on the couch as an asshole in a full Windsor knot and a tie.
I mean, we put on suits for this. We're giving it our best effort. You kind of
Right.
You kind of think it's going to be reciprocated, but yeah, Minnesota. I can't get over how boring this team is. I think calling Minnesota. Wait, no, Minnesota is the state of hockey, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think you know what we might have to
Dethrone them.
We might have to dethrone them. They might have to be relegated.
Okay.
And we might have to change the state because I mean this is just embarrassing. And I know it's not the fans' fault, but like. If I'm Bill Guerin, I'm two-handing somebody on the team in the face in the locker room, and I'm not a fan of violence.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm all for beers on the bus, but like, is there beers on the bus when you're loading up the bird going to Signature Airport tonight? And we have another call. I'm not sure if this is going to go 5-on-3. Steve Kazari is going to give us a call, official number 40. Folks, if you're following along right now, 9:41 to play in the final frame. We have an absolute ass kicking right now. It is 5-1 in favor of the Dallas Stars, the home team. Playing at American Airlines Center tonight. We have a 5-on-3. I mean, Sagan just got called for what I would say a phantom tripping penalty. I mean, I think that Kazari at this point just feels bad for the Minnesota Wild. So we're going to skate 5-on-3. I don't mind watching a 5-on-3, Rob. Hopefully there can be a little bit of a shooting gallery. It's like when you go to Gander Mountain, you try out a new gun, right? You got the 12 gauge. You got the old Desert Eagle pistol. You're working with a couple different guns, and you're kind of just trying to pick which one you like. So hopefully we can get a couple at least shots on net from the Wild, maybe a goal. I don't know about this team. To me, man, this has been a very vanilla effort. I don't want to be negative because I love the people. I love bringing you the heat. I love bringing just great coverage you can't find anywhere else. But when they don't match the effort from the boys, it's always tough, Bob.
Yeah, and I just tweeted out right now, I think the state of hockey needs to be relegated from Minnesota. I mean, this team is tough to watch with all due respect. I'm physically in pain watching this team. I might delete it because, again, like you said, I feel bad for the fans. I feel bad for the fans.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I will delete it because it's not the fans.
No, it's not the fans, and they have great fans. And that barn, honestly, Rob, the XL Energy, okay, we got a goal. Okay, Hartsey, fella, he's on the board. Now, it doesn't matter, but at least they get a goal. And back to your point, just with the fans, some of the best fans in the league and one of the best barns, the XL Energy Center, to watch a game in terms of, I mean, it's incredible. Like, they truly do have great fans. Everyone knows the game. In terms of, I think they are the state of hockey as much as a Wisconsin guy. I hate to admit that. I think they are. And as we get a look at Ryan Hartman, okay, we opened up a seam. Zuccarello, great play here. Shows like he might go down to the goal line, opens up the hands, slides it across the box. Talk about going across the box like a chick at Hooters.
Yeah, it's weird to say that the game's been boring. We have 5-2. I mean, there's been 7 goals, but it's still been boring somehow. But yeah, the over did hit. I wish I wasn't a pussy and I took the original over of 6.5. Somehow it hit. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, folks, again, right now, 8:45 remaining. We still have a minute power play for the Minnesota Wild as Matt Boldy corrals the puck in his own zone right around the blue line, sends it over to Matt Zuccarello, who settles it off and dusts the puck off as we are going to go to a power play breakout over the line here. And, Zuccarello with a nice little play, kind of just got caught up on terms of a little bit of a hand pass, if you will, from the Dallas Stars. Okay, we're skating 5-on-4 here, folks. Brock Faber at the top of the key sends it over to Matt Boldy. Boldy massages that thing as he looks over his options, sends it down to the goal line to Joel Eriksson-Ek. He reviews his options, sends it back to Boldy, back to Eriksson-Ek. Ooh, a little stuffed job. How are you? Like a calzone, just stuffed in there with pepperonis, mushrooms, maybe a little pepper. Folks, again, if you're following along right now, we have 7:58 to play. Matt Zuccarello working the left flank, throws it over to a one-timer from number 23. Who's 23 on the Wild? I'm trying to get a nice little look at
Is that Rossi?
Yeah, I think you're right. It might be Rossi. We're going to send over a 5-on-5 unit from the Wild. And again, skate 5-on-5 here as we have 7:38 to play in this Wednesday night tilt. Folks, ladies' night, hump night over here at Hockey Night in Scottsdale, bringing you live action from the couch as we bring you the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. Right now, 5-2 in favor of the Dallas Stars as Ryan Hartman gathers the puck over the Dallas blue line. He sends a little bit of a drop pass to, Johansson, who kind of miscorrals it and ultimately ends up in the corner. Back up to the point. Goligoski sends a drive wide, and Zach Bogosian sends it over the wall. And okay, folks, not a whole lot going on here, but I'm trying to give you a little bit of a play-by-play.
We need your computer for the mic, by the way.
Yep.
All right, we're going to do an audio. And we're going to do folks, can you hear us? We're just switching out the audio. I'm going to bring an extension cord so we don't have to do this shit. because we keep like barely making it.
Did you
I'm gonna invite you now.
Packaboy to Jackaboy?
Over to Packaboy, over to Jackaboy, over to McAvoy. Just sent the link. But yeah, thanks for sticking with us. You can hear us, but this is not the correct microphone, but we'll be and then we can use that for comments too.
Did you send her?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, folks.
Jimmy Ratledge checking in from Southwest Florida.
Jimmy Ratfurda. What a Furda name. Jimmy Ratfurda. There goes my hero. Watch him as he tugs. Alrighty.
All right, here we go. And here we go. We're going to get the audio back. I'm going to retweet the link.
Okay.
Device is not connected.
There we go.
All right. Am I going on?
Live from the couch. Hockey Night in Scottsdale brought to you by Butter Golf and Heat Daddy merch. As always, reporting live from North Scottsdale, my friend, co-host, and just all-time beautician, the Heat Daddy, Robbie Gucci. Fella, what do we have in the chat right now? Can we get at the people and see what they're tapping in from? We have about 7 minutes here left, folks, so ask us anything. I know this game has been a little bit underwhelming, but again, we want to bring you hockey coverage. We want to talk about, I guess, shitting on people's chest, never trusting a fart on Bender, and whatever else comes up. So, folks, again, if you're listening right now, live show next week. That is Friday. We are flying into Calgary. Live show will be Saturday, live from Cowboys, the Battle of Alberta, featuring the Calgary Flames, the home team, and the visiting Edmonton Oilers. We'll be live from Cowboys around, well, a soft 5 o'clock, I would say. So, folks, if you're going, if you're traveling, get there early. The boys will be there early. Yuck it up with us. We'll do our show. We'll chill with the people. We're going to go to the game, obviously, the Battle of Alberta, and then we will be back after the game partying with you, the people. So if you're in Western Canada, maybe there's a cheap bird into Calgary, please get there. Come on, baby. Let's mix it up. The following week, we'll be in New York City, live from the Canuck. That is January 26th, Friday. Folks, again, another live show bringing you the Heat, 4 to 6, then going to the game that night, Rangers at MSG, the mecca of all sports, hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. And then afterwards, we'll be back at the Canuck, right on your jaw. So tickets for that event are all sold out. But again, we talked to a fire marshal in the greater New York area and said, hey, fella, under emergency-like conditions, can we get 20 odd more tickets? So that link will be sent out tomorrow, as well as in the following days for the post-game show. You can reserve. That's about going to be anywhere from $20 to $25. That includes a drink, though. I'm not sure if that's going to be a double. We'll figure that out, but we cannot wait to get boots on the ground in Calgary and Cowtown next week. And the following week, again, live from New York City. So, Bobby, that is long-winded. What else do you have for us over here?
Yeah, we'll come to Dallas. I mean, listen, we'll come wherever the people want us to come. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'll go to a shithole and I'll go to fucking Mississippi if the people are there. But yeah, I think as we slowly go through this process, we're gonna try to hit every city possible. As long as people show up, we'll go. But good question. Hill is a late scratch. The Knights are missing like 8 guys. That's weird to hear. Any TJ Oshie stories hurting to straight beauty? I actually have a big personal vendetta against him because he hit my friend Bo Bennett from behind and it separated his shoulder. And I think TJ Oshie's sneaky, one of the dirtiest players in the league.
He is a beauty, though.
But I don't know him. Obviously, a UND guy, so no disrespect.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. He's a guy. I mean, not that we're really watching this game anymore, but when I got drafted by St. Louis, Rob, he was still playing there at the time, and he was living in Brainerd, Minnesota, which is a lake area, a lot of golf courses. It's kind of a resort type of town in Minnesota, just north of the Twin Cities by about 2 hours. And he was kind enough to invite me to his place. I stayed there for a week. I worked out with him. He paid for everything. I mean, just a really good dude with a good chin and just great at everything he does. I mean, he's an amazing golfer, ping pong, beer pong, hockey. Like the guy is just a stick at everything he does. So shout out to TJ Sochi. He's a friend of the show, obviously a North Dakota guy and a guy that was always very good to me.
What's the story behind the bar called the Canuck in New York? Is it hockey themed? Yeah, I think obviously the owners are Canadians. I think I don't know too much in depth about it, but I think they were like, hey, this city could use a hockey themed bar for us Canadians down here to watch some fucking hockey.
I think it's as simple as that, Rob. You summed it up, and I think it's a great hit, especially before Ranger games, after Ranger games. Folks, again, we'll be tapping in there before the game, and then afterwards, about 11 o'clock, back there, boots on the ground. And we want people to show up and just hang out and party and just, whatever. I mean, we're no-filter kind of guys, and we want to hang out with good chins, people that throw both ways, and enjoy a couple Irish coffees, maybe some Jaeger, and ultimately just fucking, whatever comes out of our mouth comes out of our mouth, baby.
Swish, what's your plan on pacing yourself? Because we have a long day. We have the show, we have the game, and then we have the after party. Is there anything that you're kind of cooking up in your mind? Like, hey, how do we approach this game? How do we approach this day? What are you thinking?
Well, for me, Rob, it's always low and slow until you got to go high and hard, right? So I think it's 2 or 3 Irish coffees before the show just to rev the engines, get that caffeine going. You got to be able to bring the noise for the people. You got to be able to bring the steam. So you got to be kind of floored. Maybe a tequila shot too, because it's a proven upper. So you're walking into that show 3 to 4 deep. And then after that, it's all hell loose. I think it's, oh my God, that was absolute Tristan Jarry. That was absolute jar from Sagan and a meaningless goal. But yeah, I think, Rob, you gotta be able to floor it to a certain extent, but then you got to be able to reel yourself in to a point where you can maybe have a conversation and not have to wear a swimming suit in case you piss yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a little bit nervous about the after party. I think I might be a puddle, but like we always say, it's not my first rodeo. I'm really excited.
You're actually, sorry to cut you off. I just want to say you're actually better and funnier the drunker you get, which is actually a crazy thing. Most people have a Dave Tippett line where they kind of fall off and they hit the back of the chair. Somehow your wit and your humor, the more blacked out you get, it gets amazing. So I just want to felt that out.
I don't understand why that happens. It's actually so weird. I mean, I could have full-blown conversations and with people that I don't remember that apparently went well, which actually surprised me that I do this show sober. I think I'm going to mix in a couple of drinks, but I did drink last night a little bit, so I didn't want to. But yeah, that's just part of the game, baby.
Yeah, I think I 100% agree with that. I think you just don't have a tipping point, and whether it's 0 to 12, I think you had that same funny-esque humor, but then it gets over like 20, and then somehow like Bobby Gucci might not even know how he got home, but somehow the jokes were hitting with the waitress, and all of a sudden he might have one of his best bits. So, folks, if you're with us, get Gucci to a point where he can't see. That is where you really find his Flow State University.
I just want to point out that to the 153 people remaining in here, that Jay Switch is actually wearing dress shoes right now in the house.
Yeah,
I mean,
full to
even though this is kind of a nut chugging session right now, the dedication to wear dress shoes in your own crib is just pretty remarkable. Chat, what are we saying? We got 3 minutes remaining. Dude, this game will not end. No. And I enjoy doing the stream, but I fucking hate this game, Switch. I actually may never broadcast another Minnesota Wild game again.
I am 100% with you there. And then that is no disrespect to the state of hockey as we go to our final commercial break of the game. But yeah, this one's been tough. I just think that Minnesota they should have just stayed at the hotel. They should have stayed at the Ritz-Carlton tonight and just said, hey, we're going to simulate this game and see how it goes. And I think it would have ended up the same way, a 6-2 loss against a home team on Wednesday night, ladies' night at the American Airlines Center. But yeah, it's just been tough. You hate this. You bring your fastball, Rob, and guys on a TV screen don't do the same. I know it's the National League. I know you have off nights, but this one's been tough to watch. But again, we got to stay positive with it. We got to keep this chat going. Folks, if you have any questions left for us, we have about 3 minutes remaining. We'll keep getting this chat going. We haven't honestly been watching a ton of this game just because it's been out of reach, a little bit boring, and a little bit sleepy tonight. So whatever you have in the chat, it's been awesome. You guys, obviously, we had Jordan Binnington on earlier. It was great chatting with a hopeful all-star in his hometown. But again, ask us what we need. What are you doing tonight? Maybe where you'd want to see us come. Different ideas you have for us, what games you'd want to see in maybe looking ahead of the next week. I don't know. Ask us anything because we are the people stream. This is why we do it, for you people. So
I just want to answer this question real quick. Vegas ad stream next, guys. It's to be honest with you, maybe one day when we have some uppers, we'll do a back-to-back. But 3 hours in a row of talking, and Swish honestly kind of narrates this whole thing. It's not easy. It's not easy to do. That's probably the reason why we haven't really dipped into the double headers. I think for the playoffs, it's going to be a different story. Swish.
We're going to have to find a new gear. Yep.
We're going to have to call in our Colombian guy and maybe bring us some white stuff. But that game is great. We try to stick to Eastern time zone games just so we have more people watching and commenting. But yeah, it's 3 hours of talking straight. It's more exhausting than people think.
George Strait. Yeah, and we do a lot of talking as is. We're two guys that don't shut the fuck up. We got pods, we got live shows, we do other streams, we go on other people's podcasts, but definitely come playoff time. And we like to bring a stream in a unique way where it's different than any other stream. Like a lot of people I notice, and this is not to just chirp people or discredit them. A lot of people, Rob, they just kind of sit there and they kind of chime in when they want. We want to be on top of the game, talking the whole fucking time, bringing the energy for the people, because that is what separates us from the rest.
Yeah.
So we want to be unique with it. We want to be able to narrate the game a little bit. We want to comment on different things. We want to talk about flicking the bean, but then going back to a 5-on-4 chance on a power play. So again, that is kind of what we do. But again, playoff time is a different story. You got to give your nuts a tug. We'll be doing back-to-backs. We'll be doing probably every night, at least the first round, and we'll go from there and just kind of see how it goes. So.
Yeah, and maybe we can get a TV set up in here where we can watch multiple games at once. I think that would be a good idea. Jay Swift and Robbie, what are the plans after this one? What's going down in Scottsdale for beatdown like this? You know what? After a night like this on a Wednesday, probably just going to take it easy, throw their Normatex on. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If it was a Thursday or a Friday, definitely Friday, I'd head down to Dominic's for a wedge salad chopped.
Are we looking to do maybe an in real life stream on Friday? Is that still a go?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to try it?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, I
think people would love that, especially going into Calgary.
Yeah, still 168 people strong in here, boys. Friday night, we're going to do an in real life stream. We're going to be mic'd up. We're going to be out and about. The only thing is that this is going to be a test.
Right.
So we might not have the audio perfect. We might cut short. We might cut out. We're going to do our best. We do have a cameraman, and you can basically just follow us on a night out, and that's essentially what it is. So we will be doing that Friday night. I fucking forgot all of that.
Yeah, we got to do it. Yeah, we got to do it.
But yeah, I ordered the mics.
I think we start at like 3 or 4, so we can get that batting, or you know what I mean. Like, I don't know if we should tell people, but we are batting gloves guys over here. We'll try to maybe get to the batting cages. I don't know what time they close, Rob, but I think we just roll the tape, and like you said, it's not going to be probably perfect, but it's going to be pretty cool and just funny. We hope it's enjoyable for the people, and I think it'll be a good teaser for what's to come, especially with our live shows coming up.
Yeah, we're going to go to the batting cages and a bar. So we're going to be mic'd up doing that. It's just going to be a typical night out with the boys. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Fuck, dude, I should have got a flyer made for that, but I think
Philadelphia.
Yeah, I should. I like how this game is 14 goals in it. We just could not give a fuck less. But yeah, check that out on Friday. I got a text Pack about that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that would be awesome. I think people would really enjoy that, and we'll go from there, low and slow, baby.
Shout out to Nippin' Peaches, who has been in the chat for all 2 hours and 30 minutes. I know a lot of you probably have.
What just happened? Sorry to interrupt you. What was that play? How did you run in the net? You forgot it was there?
They just don't want this game to end.
What? Show the replay of this. Who is number 21? What happened? That guy just ran into the net.
Probably someone trying to kill themselves because the game is so boring.
Oh my God! Sorry to fuck me.
No disrespect.
Oh my God. 7-2. How's there been 9 goals?
That's what I'm saying.
No, 1-0 game.
This is the most 1-goal, 9-goal game ever.
This has been absurd.
It's something. What is it though, Switch? Like, is it something about the gameplay? Like what?
No, it's just been it's been such a slow game. There's been no pace. There's been no heartbeat from the Wild that it lulls you to sleep. Like it's been the most vanilla effort I've ever seen this whole year watching games. And again, I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just trying to call it like I see it.
David Spade.
Yeah, and it's just been so vanilla. Like they haven't had one hit. There's been no scrums. Like what is going on in this game? And they just took a beating 7-2. It's like, I don't know. Like if I'm John Hines, I'm like, buddy, like we need something, because that was a sleeper on a Wednesday that just probably can't happen again. I mean, I guess if it's the odd game, but anyways, right now, folks, we have 45 seconds remaining in this 7-2 affair, live from the American Airlines Center. Again, it's been unbelievable tuning in with you, the people, over here at Hockey Night in Scottsdale, brought to you always by Heat Daddy Merch and Butter Golf. Folks, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. We're rolling out in the dying seconds of this game, a game that seemed like it would never end, but honestly, a very entertaining chat. Like Rob mentioned, we're going to be doing an in-person stream. We're going to try it out. We're going to have a camera guy on Friday. We have a nice little day set up. We kind of have a plan just to tease it a little bit. I think we're going to head back to the batting cage, probably to Dick's Sporting Goods, get the eye black on, just be middle-aged assholes to our best ability. And honestly, just be ourselves, be organic with it. I think people really enjoy it. I think when me and Gucci are sitting at a table together, I'm not just trying to pump our own tires. Some of the shit that comes out of our mouth, I don't know if you could find it anywhere else. And that's politely putting it. So, Rob, that is the final from the American Airlines Center. Low and slow, as always, folks. 7-2 tonight. The Dallas Stars pounding the screws to the Minnesota Wild and their ladies. I mean, at least the Wild exiting the rink. I mean, you get one last look at the cheerleaders, because when you go out the visiting side, that side door, that Daryl's side door, when you go out to the visiting away room, that's where the cheerleaders hang out, right in the tunnel. So you get one look at the Jammers, and then it's back to Minnesota where it's cold and it's stinky, and you're back in the state of hockey. So
thank you for everyone saying great job from Cody. Thank you. A Tommy Vet hand clap. Thanks for the ovation. We appreciate it. Love the online standing ovation. Cheers, Petey. Thank you very much. Nip and Peaches, thank you again, man, for tuning in. It's been great. You've also been there. A Tommy Vet, thank you. First stream ever. Where is that one? Shout out to a Tommy Vet. First stream I've ever watched. I'll be watching again next time. And let me tell you something. This was a boring-ass game, and we did the best we could. When the game is electric, it only makes us more amplified. Thank you for tuning in and giving us a chance. We really appreciate that. Thank you, James. We are out for the night. Adios. Everybody have a safe night.